movie for people our age. And that's how, in essence, it was written. And as far as I'm concerned, they did a damn good job trying to adapt his set, whether he likes it or not.
Well, I think they did as good as they possibly could at the time. And Alan Moore is never happy with anything, let's be honest.
Yes.
And even DC didn't necessarily want to deal with the Watchmen when it came out because it wasn't used to. I mean, of course, in comic book history, there's always been various times in which they do like the total opposite of things. But Moore's Watchmen was truly the aspect of bringing the dark side of humanity to superheroes. So yeah, I think that I remember seeing it in theaters also. But it was also around the time The Crow came out.
And granted, I hate the guy. He reminds me of the male Christina Aguilera, which already sucks.
I wonder where you're going here.
But Jason Momoa is set to play The Crow, Eric Draven. How are you feeling about this?
Okay, this is the only thing I have to say about the Crow remake, and they better not screw it up. According to IMDb, Nick Cave wrote the original screenplay. Now, Nick Cave, and I'm familiar with him musically, but he's also one of the better screenwriters out there. Proposition, which he wrote, is one of the best neo-westerns made in the past 20 years. If they keep his original screenplay, I think they've got a winner on their hands. But we know Hollywood, and we know that a screenplay never truly ends up from its original form onto screen. As far as Jason, I don't. The Crow in itself, from the original source material, the guy has to be, little guy. Brandon Lee was perfect. Even though he was from a martial arts background, and everything, he was a thin guy. He was a tall guy. He was lanky. Mm-hmm. And then you go from I've lost my love to he still has that, but there's then the acting comes in. He is pissed. He is angry. You then get scared of a guy that without the makeup and everything, if he just said hello, somebody would hit him on the street. Jason, it's like, putting the Rock in that thing. So, no, I'm not happy about that. But, if the script is good and they pick a good director, let bygones be bygones on an actor that doesn't fit.
Let me say this, because I was talking to my buddy, let's call him Mad-Eye Markey for the sake of online things, because that's what he likes to go by online. He said, we were talking about something similar a few nights ago in regards to The Crow, and that is the fact that he said a lot of the chat forums he goes into is everybody was like, it's got to be Brandon Lee or nothing. Well, for one thing, you can't have Brandon Lee because sadly he passed away during the making of the original Crow. Yeah. That's number one. Number two, he said, he agreed with me on that. He said, number two, with the original source material, what a lot of people don't realize is anybody can be the Crow. It's not just one, i.e. Clark Kent equals Superman or Peter Parker equals Spider-Man. It's anybody is the Crow. It's a mantle that is needed to be kind of from where I'm not a Crow fan, and I don't play one on TV, but it's like, imagine my shockings when I had to do my first panel 4 months into my podcasting career, told by Matt Burns, oh, guess what? You're going to be hosting a panel with the person who, in essence, was the little girl from Crow. I was like, oh, shit. Okay. And still, it was like learning. It's like, well, it's not just one person's Crow. It's a mantle that's passed on temporarily to somebody that needs, as you said, to evoke revenge or to get a job done in some way.
Well, try going to the bar with all the people from Walking Dead and Vernon Wells. That was fucking interesting.
Okay. Well, back to the Crow and everything. See, for me, I think the best way to adapt an item like the Crow, and even though he had done other movies, Brandon Lee was a nobody to the general public. And that's what's key, in my opinion, to making it work, is the fact that they need somebody you don't know. Because, if they stick to the whole, grungy, indie rocker thing, that's what's going to make it work. If you know somebody and you associate somebody already with the Crow, you miss the aspect that he's supposed to be a nobody.
Right.
So, but real quick, and then I got to grab a drink. But I want to take it back to a couple things you brought up. As far as DC animation, this is my hypothesis on that. And this comes to Marvel, too. A lot of studios tend to still put their animation division and their live action division on two ends, and they don't communicate. And I think that's where that's going on. And as far as arcs go in the world of DC, I think you're totally right on. Marvel has simplified its universe, it's simplified its arcs, it's taken source material directly and going, okay, we're going to do Winter Soldier. We're just going to do Winter Soldier, where, DC is like, well, if we put A and C and G together, we're going to get a good movie. So, yeah, I just had to say, your points are excellent, by the way.
Thank you. I tried. And so surprisingly, Sasha hasn't called me out on my bullshit yet.
That's fine.
And she will call anybody out on their bullshit. So thank you.
But I am drinking, so it does help.
Yeah. Which actually, I'm gonna grab something.
Go. You're good. You're good.
Don't on anything.
Tannen at some point might join in. He finally, I guess, got sober enough to realize we're podcasting.
Like 4 minutes.
That's fine.
I'll be back. So fill me in on anything I missed.
We'll be timing you.
Too much shit about me,
That's fine.
Okay.
So Chris, this is what I think with DC, and this is what kind of irks me a little with them when it comes to DC. Their TV is great. The TV stuff is awesome so far. I grant there's some exceptions. And the animated stuff is sublime. I just don't get how they can't get a movie right.
That's true, and not to mention they have... when it comes to their TV, I agree. I like a lot of what their TV does and is doing, but they have when it comes, and this is where I agree with Trevor, is they're trying to do a lot of stuff and they don't communicate. Literally, Superman is, for the most part, a 4-letter word. So is Batman. It's a 4-letter word. Yet, when it comes to like the Flash has been on the TV for 4 or 5 years now? And at least for now, and they're trying to do a Flash film, the superhero film, and it hasn't come to fruition. And it's like, wait a minute, you already have a successful TV show. Why? I can see this happening now. You're going to create a film for the Flash and take Flash off the TV because you did it with I don't want to say Deadshot. What's his name?
Arrow?
DC. No, he was an Arrow. In essence, Deadpool came from him. Deadpool was the script. I don't want to say Deadshot, but that's not Deadshot.
Deathhead? No.
Deathstroke. Yeah. Yeah, it's like Deathstroke was a big character on Arrow. And all of a sudden, he appeared in the last few minutes of Justice League. And all of a sudden, Warner Brothers said, oh, he's not going to be in the TV show anymore because he's going to have a movie. I'm like, freaking really? Really? He's now a 4-letter word like Batman?
I just don't get it. I don't know if it's budgetary constraints as to why they can't do... Like, why the TV is so much better.
That they want to see more Superman in, throughout the series in regards to not just Supergirl, but to they want to see Batman in the Arrowverse, but they don't want to do it because according to Warner Brothers, oh no, Batman's strictly for the big screen, not the small screen, and we don't want have official Batman or an official Batman costume on Gotham until the very last few seconds of Gotham, and it's just screwed up, weird, and just everything else. It's just I don't like it. And it's like let the fans are there screaming, begging, and everything else for something that they want to see, yet we get crap. We have Arrow. Granted, Arrow's a good show. Stephen Amell, it plays Green Arrow / Oliver Queen perfectly, and he's done a marvelous job proving himself to the fact, but he's pretty much Batman light. Because
Batman light. I like
Batman
that.
light. Because they don't want Batman on the small screen again. They would rather have it on the big screen. That's why you're seeing a lot of Batman-esque themes in the Arrow, because they don't want to bring Batman to the small screen. They don't want to bring. That's why. Now, I'm not saying having Batwoman on the small screen it's a great idea, and I hope it's successful. But fans want to see Batman too. They want to see Batman as a character in a guest spot or a brief appearance. But no, we're getting Batwoman. We need. It's just weird. Fans have been screaming for Batman since the days of Smallville on it, and no, we're not going to get it. Give Clark Kent for his Superman outfit in Smallville. No, we're not going to get it. We want Batman. No, you're not going to get it. Here's Green Arrow. Really? Can we have Wonder Woman? No, here is Lois Lane dressed up as a Wonder Woman wannabe as a Halloween thing. Really? Give us the fans scream for it, and fans want it, yet they don't want to give it due to, that's strictly movie rights. Sorry.
So here's a good question for you, and this is something I think that everybody can kind of chime in. Now, with the whole Disney acquisition of Fox, so they're now pretty much getting the rest of Marvel that they don't have, aside from whatever Sony's clinging on to. Even though they've kind of got things kind of worked out with Sony where it's nice. So once they get everything from Fox, what do you think the best route is? To just go ahead and kind of just implement those characters into their existing cinematic universe, or to do a whole reboot?
Reboot, and for the exception of maybe Deadpool for right now.
Well, Deadpool exists outside of continuity, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, that's the whole point of Deadpool.
Exactly.
Breaking the fourth wall, and he's the jester of the Marvel universe, and will always be outside of it.
But they're already talking about like a Silver Surfer movie, like Silver Surfer Origins through Disney.
Ooh.
And they're already talking about introducing Fantastic.
About a movie they could seriously screw up.
Yep, and
the ultimate existential comic. That's that's not the kind of thing you want to take your kid to.
Exactly.
I mean, that's...
At least the upside is we're not getting Galactus as a fucking cloud. So...
Let me put it like this. I have to come to the fact that we will not, even though Endgame comes out in about a month, I have to still come to the terms of the fact that we will not get the whole no shit Sherlock line in Endgame and have both Tony Stark and Doctor Strange just look at the person saying it with a quizzical look, because both of them played Sherlock.
Yes.
Because I want the irony, like, no shit Sherlock, and both of them just perk up and look towards the person who said it. I want that, just like I wanted like in the early days of when Force Awakens came out, it's like, I want to, somebody photoshopped the Spaceballs combing the desert scene in one of the shots. It's like, I want to see that. And I also want to see a lanky, long-haired, blonde person and a short, stocky person outside of a store on some planet kind of making homage to James Silent Bob in the Star Wars movie. But, yeah, I know it's not going to happen, dang nabbit.
Yeah, well, I still wanted the whole lightsaber being returned and Mark Hamill going, there's a hand that came with that, right?
That would have been spectacular.
It would have been. I would have loved it.
I would have laughed my ass. I would have probably gave The Last Jedi a better rating if I was in it. I would have said that would have been a redeemable line. It's like, yeah, when Luke Skywalker said, there's a hand that came with that. What happened to that?
But, yeah, like, DC I just don't get, and Marvel I really don't get, because they're getting ready to have all these properties, and it's kind of like, I'm curious as to what Disney's going to do. Because they want that X-Men money. They want Wolverine. And as terrible as it sounds, the rumor has it that fucking Harry Potter's going to wind up being Wolverine.
Who, Daniel Radcliffe?
Yes, people have been talking about that. That's like...
Well, if they do an origin, a true origin story, I could see where that would work.
But to me, it's like, find me a short, hairy Canadian. How hard is that to make happen? We can go to Canada right now and find, like, 10.
Personally, I don't think you want Celine Dion as Wolverine. Oh!
Oh!
It's like I said before, I haven't put an amazing amount of effort in trying to get caught up with the DC or Marvel universes, because there's just so much to do. But I am very familiar with them. There are certain storylines that I do like. But I'm trying to think. I'll be honest with my ignorance at this point. But there was one of the big Marvel films that they had. I can't think of it, but it was a story arc that was very important that Wolverine was in it.
Yes.
And they couldn't use him. So they removed that element, and it just didn't work. And the fact they couldn't have Wolverine in it, they should have scrapped the whole idea.
Yeah.
Because he was actually the connecting force in the entire story. So having these acquisitions could be good. Now, I don't know about you guys, talking about a strange acquisition that I don't know who even owns it now, but I'm still keeping my fingers crossed for a Man-Thing film.
Oh, there is one that exists.
It exists, but can we say it's actually a film? One
it's
of the
weird.
Great characters. It's weird, and I think it's like certain cheeses grown better with age. But, talk about a character that truly is, you can do a lot with. And I'd like to see how that would be. Now, of course, Swamp Thing on the DC side is getting a reboot.
Yes, but
that series, I think it lasted, 2-3 seasons? And a lot of people don't realize, the younger generation don't realize, is that before Lois and Clark, before Smallville, there was Superboy, the series on USA, and it was like when USA was still this fledgling channel.
Wait,
Superman.
If I'm not mistaken, some big name actor did Superboy back then.
I don't know who played Superboy, but I do know the wrestler or former wrestler Lex Luthor. Lex Luger, played like Bizarro or, not Bizarro, the robot with the kryptonite in his chest.
Oh shit, I know this one. God damn it.
It begins with an M.
Metallo.
He played Metallo in the series for, I think, an episode. But I think it lasted not even 2 seasons, and it became Superboy and transfers to Superman.
You remember The Flash? Around about the same era with, I can't think of it, but Mark Hamill was in that TV show. He played the Jester, or the Jokester?
Yeah, Jester, I think, or the toy. Well, Mark Hamill was the toy master in the original 90s Flash TV show.
But he also played like the Jester or the Jokester or something like that as well.
I think so. It's been a long time.
And he kind of did the same character for Cockdocker, and that's what cracked me up in Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. So I'm sitting there like, holy fuck, he's that character from The Flash.
Yeah, right. But the thing is, that I think Sasha would kind of agree with what happened with the original 90s Flash back when it was out. Was sad to see it go because of the main actor. Granted, he plays Barry Allen's dad in the current series, but for those folks at home, when the original 90s Flash was on air, the reason why he canceled it is because the person who played the Flash came out as being gay or a member of the LGBTQ community, and Fox didn't like, because it aired on Fox, they didn't like the fact that he came out in regards to this, and they canceled the series. which was sad because the series was cheesy yet it was good. And I was one of the folks that thought that if he's like that, that's his own business. I'm enjoying the show.
Exactly. That's what to do with him.
Well, if you look at the Flash, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. I vaguely remember it, but the number of people who made guest appearances were Richard Belzer, Dick Miller, Mark Hamill was on 2 episodes as the Trickster.
Yes, there we go.
I mean, it really got some heavy hitter character actors going on. David Cassidy was even in it. I mean, good grief. It's quite amazing. And you bring these up, and I remember these, and to an extent, watching 1 or 2 episodes, I would say I enjoyed them more than what's going on now as far as these reboots for TV. Right. I think it was that cheesiness element of it that made it special. That yet again not taking itself seriously.
Yeah, and you're right. A lot of the shows that were out in the early to mid 90s, they didn't take themselves too seriously, and they did a good job. The Flash was one of them. I think Briscoe County Jr. was another.
Oh, man, that was wonderful.
It just didn't take themselves too seriously. They took themselves seriously, but it didn't take themselves too seriously. And I don't know if I ever brought it up on any of Sasha's podcasts like this, that there was a couple of, at least one blog post that I put up called how, in essence, it was exploring how, I'm trying to know the word, how syndication has, in essence, evolved. I wrote the article like about close to 10 years ago. But in essence, how syndication evolved, because during I'm sure both Sasha and you could agree, Trevor, that during the 80s and 90s and even into the early 2000s, the biggest name in syndication was Star Trek. Unless you were Star Trek, you didn't get a spot on syndicated TV if you were an independent program. And it wasn't until maybe 94, 95 when Hercules, legendary, The Legend Continues, was a success in kind of that Saturday afternoon TV format, was that success. And all of a sudden, let's make a TV show about this. And that became a syndicated hit, which paved the road for Xena, Babylon 5, Andromeda, Buffy, all these other, granted we had Beastmaster, the TV show, and Conan for a few seasons, but what happened?
Forgot about that.
I saw
Beastmaster.
Later on. But
they made like 4 Beastmaster films, did you know?
Yeah, I watched the original one a few nights ago, don't judge.
No, the first Beastmaster is amazing.
I like the second one, because it's all like in the 90s and shit. But it's still that singer guy.
But still, it's you had this where, again, it's just, I think part of it was at this time in the late 90s, early 2000s, when you had Babylon 5 being this syndicated show that was being almost that new juggernaut, and along with Hercules and Xena, is that you had the internet starting to come into power, especially AOL. And you have these folks telling other markets, sharing. I know there have been tales of J. Michael Straczynski telling the lawyers for Babylon 5 production people, don't send out those letters of cease and desist, because what they're doing is advertising for free Babylon 5. They're sharing the clips. They're introducing new markets across the United States, Canada, and the world to Babylon 5. Because the fans are the ones pushing this into new markets, and it means more money for us, and it worked. I don't know how true that story was or is, but it's if it was the internet that helped push these new independent stuff to kind of push down the market share of Star Trek during that time, more power to it. And nowadays, where it evolved, we don't have that syndication. Well, we kind of do with reruns and everything else, but now we have it with more digital, i.e. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and other video on demand stuff that we can easily access. And that's the digital frontier that I was trying to get. Old media, which is TV networks, it is there. It is a threat in some way, especially some could say YouTube in a way, because it's new media, it's a new market, and the old media wants to kind of keep what they have. They don't want to get into that change. So
the networks are attempting it. The problem with digital right now and streaming is, of course, you have the big dogs. You have Netflix, you have Hulu, you have Amazon Prime. But everybody in the kitchen sink who owns properties wants to start their own service. And, we saw this with Filmstruck. It amazes me that Filmstruck went down. So many people are out there that wanted access to the Criterion Collection, wanted access to the TCM catalog, and it went down. But so many things like, Shout Factory, I think, has started its own thing.
It's been on Roku for years.
A company that will not...
The Roku, I don't know if you've ever done a Roku device or not. They have their own channel up on Roku. Shout Factory. And it's free. You guys still with me? Did we lose connection? Hold on, I think we lost connection. Internet's acting up. 2 seconds, guys. T-Rex just went down. Hold on. I'm a-coming. There we go. Come on, baby, get them daisies. Internet connection just shut down. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Where are you at? God damn it. Hey guys!
$1,000 for the rights to this movie. Shut up, take it, and let the
Our internet just died, so whatever y'all were talking about, I was fighting my ass off to get it back on.
So it's the aspect of, take the money. If it's $5,000, it's $5,000 in your pocket. Sit down, shut up, and
sitting here fanning the wireless router.
Let the fans, buy the movie, and if you guys sign a dollar DVD sales, sign it. Let the fans buy the DVD and let them give you, in essence, more money in your pocket. So you can hate it all you want, sit there and sulk while you're cashing in those royalty checks. But I'm happy that's
always been an issue. It's funny how music plays a huge role in the distribution of a film, and how hard it is. I made a joke about Mean Streets earlier. Mean Streets is a film that had a horrible time getting distribution in home video because of songs being okayed, and Scorsese's Who's That Knocking at My Door, the precursor to that film, had the same issue. So it's amazing how, The Legend of Billie Jean is a beautiful example where, if you don't have the rights to that song, you can't just insert something and go, hey, this is, it's going to have the same effect. It doesn't. So a film like that is really stuck in limbo unless they get those rights.
Right. And it all depends on, I guess, I think there's other factors to it as well. Legend of Billie Jean excluded, but the movie that I want to have physical in my hands, physical copy, whether it's Blu-ray or DVD, is The Park Is Mine.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
that was Tommy Lee Jones, wasn't it?
Right. A very early Tommy Lee Jones. To me, I love the film. I'm happy to have it on, at least on digital. I want it on physical media.
I think Code Red was trying to do that.
It's one of those movies. Again, I want to. It's already on DVD or Blu-ray. I just want to have it, that physical media. But for the longest time, I couldn't find it. You could find it on DVD or Blu-ray or VHS, or mostly VHS in like England or somewhere overseas, but not here in the States. I guess it's because they had some. It depends again who owns the rights to the movie. Because if you look at UHF, when that finally came out on DVD many years ago, Weird Al on the commentary says for a while Belgium. The Belgian military had the rights to the movie for some ungodly reason. Mm-hmm. That's how things up. So it's kind of hard to say who, in essence, had the rights for the longest time to The Park Is Mine. What were the restrictions? Was it striking a new deal with Tommy Lee Jones because he was the main actor at the time in this, and because he was starting out in his career? I think this was one of the first, earliest roles that he was in. Don't quote me on it, but there's a lot of factors that are part of films such as that age that makes it hard to probably re-release it on Blu-ray or nowadays for high def DVD. So it's a lot of restrictions that have to. Or hands and deals that money has to take, be exchanged or what have you in order to get it re-released. And also depends on how many fans that really want to see this particular movie. I'm sure there's a lot of Tommy Lee Jones fans that would love to see an earlier film that he was. I think he was wonderful in the movie.
It is a great film. I have to, sorry to interrupt, but I have to say it's been decades since I've seen the film, but I'm pretty sure I remember that early on in the age of HBO, once they got beyond for showing 6 films continually, that was one that they did have the rights to.
Yeah, this was, I think it was, I remember seeing it on HBO. It was an HBO exclusive film when they were starting out in the early 80s, because that's one of
the brown box ears, the 2 white buttons.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's wonderful. I'm glad I have it on, at least on Vudu for right now. Makes me kind of want to watch it at least tomorrow or sometime in the next future, because I love it.
Oh, Chris, I want to watch it now.
So, I'm sure it's on Amazon. And I know it's on Vudu, but...
So Sasha, not to, move things weirder along, but I noticed in your podcast description, you said James Gunn, aliens.
Yes.
So where were you going there? Let's take it in that direction.
Well, okay, as you know, Aliens is celebrating its 40th this year. It's 40th anniversary of Aliens. And I love Aliens absolutely to death. I'm really happy that Disney is finally fucking acquiring it. But what worries me is they right now have the whole shorts going on right now. I don't know if anybody's seen anything about the Alien shorts, but right now...
No, I don't.
Yeah, I didn't read into it yet, so...
Yeah,
fill me in.
They've approached a bunch of major filmmakers and was like, hey, you can make a short film based on the Alien universe.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, it's still kind of in 20th Century Fox's court. I'm scared. Because, let's put it this way. When we entered into the new year, they were like, you all are getting a new Aliens game. And I was like, yes! Alien Isolation 2, yes! We get to finish out Ripley Daughter's story. No, we got a fucking mobile game. But we are getting the continuation of the story, but it's in a fucking comic book.
You mean like The Thing?
Yeah. Well, don't get me started on The Thing. That's a whole other topic. I love The Thing. Even the Thing prequel is good. It's just the studio interference fucked it up.
There, Sasha, for saying that, 'cause I think that is actually one of the better reboots.
It wasn't a reboot. It was a prequel.
It was a prequel, but it brought, it did a good job. A lot of times when they say prequel, it actually is just in its own way a reboot.
Up until...
But I think it was exceptional.
Up until they got to the ship, and up until they started inserting computer graphics, it was a good film. Thank God we got Harbinger down. And that's all I gotta say about that. But, with this Alien shorts, I am fucking scared. Because I'm like, the only thing that would make me happy is if Disney said, look, we have Alien now. Fuck you, Ridley Scott, because Covenant and Prometheus sucked. And it was counterintuitive. It was counterintuitive to the continuity. I have so many arguments on that. Watch my whole series on the Alien reviews on that.
Okay.
Because trust me, they fucked continuity major to make those two movies. Because there's no way David could have done what he did, and Predator, the Predator, proves that.
Which I have not seen, so I can't, make a judgment. The Prometheus and Covenant films, I've always felt they were kind of a standalone thing. That was Ridley Scott, going, hey, I don't like the direction you've taken these things in. I'm taking them back for myself. And I've enjoyed those within the Alien universe, but also you have to look at the Alien universe is very sticky as far as a franchise, because the Alien versus Predator films are dreadful. End of story. Most people, when they talk about Alien, they don't even bother to bring them up.
Well, here's the thing with Alien versus Predator, and I just want to remind people of this. Keep in mind the whole concept started with comic books.
Yes, it did.
And Mike Richardson...
I think it was Dark Horse.
Yes, Mike Richardson basically was trying to pit the Alien against every other major comic character out there, and nobody wanted to jump at it. And then he realized, wait, 20th Century Fox owns both Alien and Predator. I own the rights to this. Can I make a comic book where they fight each other? He called 20th Century Fox up, and they're like, fuck, dude, do whatever you want. You own the rights. Why the fuck you bugging me? And I thought it was so hilarious, because at that time, everybody made it out to be the biggest comic book deal in the world, and all it took was a 5-minute phone call.
Well, you mentioned about the comic book, and I think that's what is most disappointing about those films.
The comic book? The comic book's good.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
Okay.
What's disappointing about the films versus the comic books, and I also have to reference the comic books that have come, like Godzilla, King of the Monsters, stuff like that, is the downfall of those films was the intention that they had to put in a plot.
Yes.
Let's be honest, if you're a Predator fan and you're an Alien fan, you're going to watch 90 minutes of these two fictitious monsters beating the shit out of each other. With just a couple random people they can tear apart. That is amazing. And the comic books did that. When they felt that they needed to take a storyline via a Friday the 13th film and stick it in, that's when they went completely wrong.
Well, let's be honest. With the comic books itself, they did more than just a monster mash.
Well, yes.
The original Alien versus Predator, where it was just two space truckers talking about invading onto other species' planets, with an Alien versus Predator backdrop, and then led into the series, that was art. Yeah. That is what the movie
that's
we should have got.
Well, that's the other thing. If you're going to put in a plot, if you're going to do characters, make them that you care about them. And that's what was beautiful about the first Alien film. You cared about everybody. Aliens, even, although I'm not a huge, in comparison, I'm not a huge fan. I'm in the minority where I feel Alien 3 is, outside of the original Alien, is a masterpiece. I truly think it is. Especially if you see the extended cut. Visually, it's as stunning, if not more stunning, than the original Aliens. I know, this look you're giving me right now.
Well, the Aliens extended cut I'm okay with. If you're talking about the Alien extended cut, no.
No, I'm talking about the Alien 3 extended cut.
Oh, yeah. The work print,
Fincher's extended cut is amazing.
The work print's fine. I'm fine with the work print. The Aliens extended cut, I'm fine with also. But when you're talking about, like, the Alien director's cut, no.
No.
And let's be honest, and Chris...
Scott is way too crazy with these various cuts. Blade Runner is a beautiful example. I love Blade Runner. It was a definitive film of my youth, but do we need 5 cuts of the film?
But no. Here, Chris, is where I'm going to blow Trevor's mind.
Okay, go for it.
Alien's a remake.
Hmm?
Yeah, it's a remake.
Yes.
Yeah. What was it called? The Terror from Space? Remake? The Terror from Space.
Yes, totally. I agree with you completely.
It is 100% a remake.
Remake. Yeah.
Granted, there's subtle changes, but it is a remake.
And,
Oh, shit, I thought I would have broke you with that. It's like, oh, shit.
No, I agree completely. And it is a great film to take, inspiration from. It's not...
But again, I get that you get a 50s horror, so...
Yeah, I'm big into the whole 50s horror thing, so...
Because we were talking about that for hours. But yes, Alien is technically a remake.
Yes.
Predator itself, though, Predator... I'm going to be honest with you. I love movies where it starts out as one type and then becomes something else. Mm. If you skip, the first 5 minutes of the title sequence of Predator... where you got the ship coming in and all the space shit, cut that right out. That movie is so much more better without that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it starts out as like an actioner. Oh, we're going to fight these whatever the hell they are in South America, and then all of a sudden we got an alien hunting us. It's kind of like Why I Live From Dusk Till Dawn. It starts out as a crime serial killer movie, and then it evolves into whatever the fuck it is.
Morphs.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Overlord. I don't know. Have you seen Overlord yet?
I have not seen Overlord. No.
You need to watch Overlord.
Okay, I will definitely.
Overlord. And let me state a unpopular opinion. I enjoyed the Dusk to Dawn series.
Yes, I like that too.
The final episode.
I haven't watched the final episode, but I like the Dusk to Dawn.
I haven't seen the series. I'll be honest.
Series is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I like a popular opinion too.
I like what Robert Rodriguez is the one that expanded on the original movie and took it. The first season is a first 23 episodes. It's on Netflix.
Yes, it's good.
Oh, cool.
The first season is pretty much an expansion of the movie, and the second season and beyond kind of is a true sequel to the movie in a way. And I like it. I enjoyed it, and it's very interesting.
Now I'm gonna.
Here's
let's go with the ad about Dusk Till Dawn.
Well, not only like Dusk Till Dawn, but like on an aside, there is a ton of movies out there that start out as one thing and become something else, and it is a whole subgenre. I love it to death. So anybody, granted, yes, I just got done shooting a video for Overlord, but if you have not seen Overlord, skip everybody's reviews are like, oh, it's Call of Duty Zombies, or it's Shockwaves, the remake. No, it is so much more than that. Don't get me wrong, Shockwaves is a good fucking movie.
Shockwaves is amazing, but you put Peter Cushing in anything, and it's good.
Peter Cushing and the dude from Kung Fu in anything, Carradine, I'm good.
Carradine. Yeah, this is totally off subject, but I just have to say it because I've been obsessed with this movie for a long time. As far as the perfect Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee vehicle, Horror Express is bar none one of the greatest films.
All right, so I gotta ask, because it's something that's been bugging me all night, because we brought up Shaw Brothers, and I completely forget the name of the movie, but it was a Shaw Brothers and Hammer co-production.
Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires.
Where you had Van Helsing and Kung Fu and vampires.
Mm-hmm. Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires.
You need to send me a link on Facebook, so I need to find that fucking movie.
The Shout Factory is releasing that in the next 2 months.
Okay, I gotta see that.
Yes.
Because I love that movie. It showed on so much late night Elvira, fucking Joe Bob Briggs bullshit.
It's so bad that it's wonderful.
It is wonderful.
Well, you mentioned Vessel Dawn and it's about unpopular opinions. We talked about Alien and Predator, and I'm going to defend Predator 2.
I love Predator 2.
Predator 2 is a truly surrealistic film.
Yes.
I mean, when it came out, it was totally misunderstood. But here's the comparison I'm going to make. Predator 2 is the science fiction equivalent to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Yes.
And I think, with age, they should be appreciated as that. They are parodies of themselves.
Well, here is why I love The Predator that just came out. The Predator makes Predator 2 canon. Because they have Gary Busey's son, Jake Busey, playing his kid in that movie.
Oh, wow.
Which makes that movie canon. Which, if
Predator 2 was canon anyway.
But if Predator 2 is canon, what do you see in 1997 in the Predator's trophy case?
Yeah, the alien skull, but...
a xenomorph skull. So if a xenomorph skull is present in 1997, how the fuck did David make the xenomorph?
But the thing is, I recently watched...
Case and point!
Because I enjoyed Predator 2. Yes, I'm in the minority in regards to Predator 2. I enjoyed it.
I love that movie!
But in the cut that I have, and I think Trevor can agree with me, there's a lot of times with different movies, there are different cuts.
Oh, but
I don't mean Blade Runner. But in the cut that I have for digital...
We're talking Ridley Scott, so yeah, you do mean Blade Runner.
But the cut that I have, they don't really show the trophy case and the xenomorph skull. But what I'm talking about different cuts is that I remember a TV cut of like Blazing Saddles and Born in East LA that were much longer than a DVD cut or a VHS cut. And because I say this because I watched let's take Born in East LA. There's in the ending part of the scene. The third act of the movie, Born in East LA, is much longer in the TV cut than the VHS cut or the HBO cut. The same thing goes with Blazing Saddles. There are scenes that were much more extended that were on TV than they were on a DVD cut. Meaning, the best example is with Blazing Saddles. When you have to watch the digital cut or DVD cut, there's more to the sheriff versus Mongo than Candygram for Mongo in the film.
Right.
There literally was, and there was extended cuts for later in the movie where they're trying to stall the folks getting to the town, but it's not in the DVD cut. But I remember watching.
What you find with that is when the rights are to the studio and when they license it out to the TV, they'd use the work print. The work print will always have more material to it. And thankfully they did on a lot of movies. And, movies you wouldn't think they would, like Born in East LA and Blazing Saddles. And it's unfortunate you aren't getting these cuts that were extended because, I don't know, it's something about genre cinema tends to embrace various cuts because I guess we come from a generation. I know for me, I grew up with, going to conventions and buying fifth-generation bootlegs.
Yes.
I mean, that was, I got into Dario Argento and I got into Italian cinema, and then I became obsessed via Tim Lucas and Video Watchdog of, collecting the various cuts. And I think that's why genre cinema is good God, we're looking at another Nightbreed cut with an additional 40 minutes.
Oh, Nightbreed. So good.
I'm going to have to interrupt you there, Trevor. I will say this. When I officially started buying movies, VHS cuts, one of the first films I tried to get my hands on before getting the initial Transformers the movie cut in my hands as a VHS was Nightbreed. I loved watching that on TV. The original Nightbreed, it somehow called to me, and when I finally saw the new cut, whatever it's called, I enjoyed that cut as much as I enjoyed the original because it added a lot of stuff to the movie. It didn't take anything away from the original, and I'm just hoping to God that this new cut does not ruin the film because I really enjoyed the last two cuts. I really did, and I know that's a shocker. I did enjoy Nightbreed, both cuts.
Well, here's the thing. If they are things that Barker truly at one point wanted in the film, it most likely will be good. I mean, Cabal in itself, the novel, is insane. It's overarching. It's epic. And, Nightbreed is kind of what killed Clive Barker as far as a filmmaker because he did want to, create a world that was reminiscent and very close to his novel. And there was no way he could do it. That's why Imaginica was never actually brought to screen. At one point it was talked about. And there was no way he was going to be able to do it. The only thing about these Cabal cuts is it's pulled from various things and various things that were left out and mostly put together by fans, which has become a thing I've noticed, fan cuts, which is cool, but sometimes you have to worry because are they going by, pulling this material and then trying to get the earliest source material as far as a screenplay and then piecing it together. We'll see.
True. I'll probably rent it. I think when I saw the new cut of Nightbreed, it was I think through Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I have this nasty, uncanny habit of renting a movie, and all of a sudden, not even 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, it comes out on Netflix, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
Oh hell yeah!
But I think it came on Netflix. I was like, I watched it. I was like, but I'm happy with the new cut, and I want to own it. To me, Nightbreed's a long love of mine as a horror fan. Mm-hmm. Granted, I was somehow attracted from a teen. Sasha knows this. I like most people, I grew up watching 80s horror on HBO and mostly HBO. I think, like yourself, we were teens watching HBO.
Yes.
Watching Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, all these slasher movies on HBO, or in some cases Cinemax, depending on what your parents chose.
Cinemax!
For me, it was, my family was an HBO household, so I had no choice. But through my teen
no
years,
Salmon King for you.
Through my teen years, it was HBO, and I got attached to horror because here was something that provided, yes, I'm admitting to it, female nudity. In some
Light Force.
That was kind of the whole thing in the 1980s,
teenage hormones, and here's HBO saying, oh, here's a horror movie with female full frontal nudity. Guess why I like guess why I like Life Force, folks. I'm not lying. But still, I enjoyed the film besides the TNA. But
that in itself, one could analyze Life Force. It is, yet again, I'm sorry to go off in a tangent, but you mentioned Life Force, and I think that honestly is post Texas Chainsaw Massacre probably Hooper's best film.
True.
And, I think it is because it is truly a labor of love, and it's also amazing because he pulls so many cinematic references into the film. And it's very misunderstood, and I'm thankful there is a cult of it now who appreciate it.
And folks out there, do not search for my drinking game for Life. I should say, do not search for my drinking game for Life Force. It will kill you within the first half hour.
Do you think that'll kill you in like the first?
Or action is.
Say what, Trevor?
I'm curious the key word or action is that will get you to be hammered in a half hour.
Let's say every time you see a full-fronted every time you see a full pair of breasts, take a drink. Every time someone fully goes through a door, take a drink. Every time there's an explosion, take a drink. Every time you see the spaceship, take a drink. Every time you see the quote-unquote life force, take a drink. So in essence,
pretty much the entire film.
Yeah. Drinking.
Yeah.
Every time you see Patrick Stewart,
take a drink.
Just finish the drink.
Yeah, it's Patrick Stewart.
So I tell people, it's like, don't play my drinking games. You will die. I will probably kill you at some point.
Yeah,
and I think no pause.
Tobe Hooper is a shit, and I love Tobe Hooper. And when it comes to like weird ass movies, he's made a ton. I don't know if anybody saw it, but it's like Mortuary or something like that. It was pretty good. I actually like that.
Yeah, very good.
It was like a very low budget, the direct-to-video bullshit, and few people realize that it's out there. And I'm like, it's Tobe Hooper.
He did The Mangler, didn't he?
What's that?
He did The Mangler.
Yes.
I love The Mangler.
Which is actually a very good movie. A lot of people like to throw shit on that movie, but I remember seeing that in the theater, and it actually is quite good.
Yeah.
I never seen Mangler in theater. I saw it on, I think, HBO, some movie channel or TV, some shit like that.
Well, since we're talking about cable, and granted, this might show my age a little bit.
You leave that X-Men out of this.
No. Since we're talking about cable, y'all remember like the boxes that you all could like? Granted, nowadays they call it hacking, but you're like dealing with the fucking gears, and you can tune it
like the nickel and shit.
where you can like tear it apart.
Put the nickel in there.
Yeah, but like pick up all the channels for free. Like back in the 80s and the early 90s. Anybody else do that shit? Because I did it all day long.
That was from what I remember, my dad telling me, this is not the alcohol talking, because I just had finished off the last of my rum. But,
was it Admiral Nelson?
What? No,
Admiral Nelson, though.
He had set up the cable box himself in the 80s, and he got several times got called by the cable company that was he hacking the cable box because he couldn't set it up right.
I remember having cable people out to set up a box, and they showed us how to hack it. So it all gets to depend on, who you got and what area you were in at the time.
Well, we were a military family, so it was kind of like, y'all are going to hack it one way or the other. You're watching us. So, like, it didn't matter which pay-per-view fight was going on. We watched that shit.
Now, I will say this. My buddy Larry.
Pay-per-view.
My buddy Larry. I'm not giving him a pseudonym in this because I don't know what pseudonym he would want. He'd probably tell everybody I'm Cyclops, because here's a scrawny little black man that loves Cyclops for whatever reason. But still, that's beside the point. When I think he's married to the woman that he was seeing. Now, I know it's been a while. The person that you're seeing, her father was a member of, I think, worked for DirecTV or some shit like that. And because he worked for DirecTV, he was always able to get these cards that decoded everything. And managed to hook him up with a hotel card for hotels. All he had to do was buy the PC and plug in this card, and everything was, in essence, decoded for him.
Nice.
That's pay-per-view, porn channels, HBO, Cinemax, everything was decoded for him. And that's what he watched, and that's what I think I was at his place watching the MVP game for basketball or some shit like that, and after that we were watching nothing but pay-per-view for free.
Well, I think it's so funny, and this is like a vivid memory of mine. It would have been like the upper end of the 80s, definitely not the 90s yet, but the upper end of the 80s. And of course, we were living on a military base at the time. I think we were up in Elizabethtown at the time. And my dad had invited all his friends over to come see the fight. And of course, me being the house nerd, I had hacked the cable box so he could watch the fight. And I can't remember, but it was like one of the shortest fights ever. And he had all his buddies.
Mike Tyson.
He had all his buddies
I
over.
think I know what fight you're talking about. I'm not even a boxing fan, but there was that one Mike Tyson fight.
Yes, it was probably Tyson. But I had the box hacked because it wasn't digital at the time. It was analog. I could hack the box and we watched whatever we wanted for free. He had all his buddies over. It was hilarious because he charged them like $4 or $5 to come over to watch the fight.
Really?
Yes. And all his buddies...
I'll be right back, folks. I got
enterprising.
Yeah, but all his buddies came over to watch the fight. And it was hilarious because they had already paid when he walked through the door. And of course, the fight's over in no time. And everybody's bitching because the fight was very, very short. And my dad's all like, damn, I'm glad I didn't pay for that fucking fight. And I'm just sitting back there as a kid like, I'm glad I'm skimming 25% of this off the fucking top.
Well, it's hilarious you mentioned pay-per-view. It's something I almost forgot about.
Yeah.
And the amount of money that was brought in by, I mean, it was things like you'd pay $25 for one event.
Yes.
And it was insane. It was truly insane. But it was funny because as far as a model goes, it was the precursor to digital.
Yes.
It was a precursor to on demand. But, you know, now, of course, pay-per-view doesn't exist because of on-demand. But, you know, it was interesting. It did, you know, it was a forecast of what was to become.
Well,
now,
so
actually,
funny.
I was hoping Chris was...
With pay-per-view, like back in the day, and granted, this shows how old I am, people would come out to the house to set that up before the program came on.
Oh yeah, things in pay-per-view were truly events. So, you know, it was the idea of like you can live the event in your home. I don't know if we're going to get back to that per se, because everything now is, you know, it's streamed on the internet. It's like everything is, you know, it's instant access to everything.
Well,
and I'm happy Chris is coming back because I want to, pertaining to cable and stuff like that, I want to pose a question to you guys. We're all part of the HBO generation, the generation that remembers the little brown box, the two little white buttons, things like that. Now, a film that is key.
Oh, wait. I got to throw out here.
Are you going to say it? Because I can say it.
I've just been looking at this Starship Troopers poster the whole night, and I'm like,
okay.
I just love Starship Troopers, and I'm excited for the TV series. I know it's fucked up.
TV series?
Yes, there's a TV series coming. And it has, like, the majority of the original cast from the movie reprising their roles for the TV series. And I'm kind of excited for it.
I mean,
yeah, and for Sasha, for your information, this mini poster is signed by Casper Van Dien and I think not his main love interest, but the other
the chick that played Dizzy.
Yeah, Dizzy.
She was hot. I'm paying. I'd fuck her.
But I'm just saying, you know, it's signed by Dizzy and Casper Van Dien.
You know, if it was Newmeyer, I'd been down. I'd been like, oh shit, who'd you suck to get Newmeyer's signature?
I might have to switch everything out. That's one of the posters that are behind me. I know. I know due to glare you can't see it. It's a.
So what's this poster off to my right?
This one?
Yes. There's a glare.
Or an Iron Man? No, Doctor Strange.
Okay, and what's the one over past that? Not that way, the other way, opposite direction. Right here, what's this? Oh, shit!
Yeah.
The final countdown. Oh, there!
We were talking about that at the beginning of the
I didn't
show,
catch
actually.
that. Oh, shit. I like that.
Hence led into the Lloyd Kaufman thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Lloyd Kaufman was involved with that?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
in
the
the movie.
director, I think.
He's actually in the film, too. He
Wait.
plays a small role.
Alright, I'm gonna have to rewatch that because I didn't realize that shit.
Yeah, I think he was the director. I think, let's see.
Because it wasn't Trauma, was it?
No, it's
It wasn't
It
Trauma.
was not a trauma.
Okay.
no, it's he was a associate producer in it, according to
Yeah.
Post.
I was gonna say, I'm like, that definitely wasn't Trauma. That was way before that shit.
Yeah. Well, here, not to interrupt, but we talked about cable, and to bring this to light to everybody. My parents were very much early adopters of various forms of media, and of course when HBO came out, they did. And this is an amazingly influential film, no matter what you say. But I think does anybody remember the fact that Halloween
Yes.
played on HBO
Yes.
non-fucking stop? Like, if it wasn't good enough to begin with, our generation ended up watching Halloween on HBO probably about 2 times a week.
But, I gotta say, how
Yeah.
many people a year or 2 years after Halloween's original release, before the sequel came out, watched
Yeah.
the extended cut?
Mm-hmm.
I can't vouch for that, but I will say this. I was probably a horror fan, like I said before in the show, I watched a lot, as a teen, and especially a young teen, watching a lot of horror teen because of what it provided a young teen.
Yeah.
But
Movies!
really a horror fan. It wasn't until probably later maybe when I was hitting 18, 19 years old, actually becoming a horror fan because of the horror aspect itself. Watch it beyond the fact of what a stereotypical male would watch a horror film to begin with as a teen, i.e. watching Nightbreed and Phantasm and everything else. And getting into it and exploring that, because there was a lot of times I was very naive teen because of the restricted household I was in. But to kind of explore that, it was like, okay, yeah, you're allowed to go out to see friends, but why are you going out to see friends, so to speak? But when I remember watching before school, and having HBO, watching Evil Dead 2, and
Yes.
not understanding Evil Dead 2 on HBO, and just seeing like, okay, here's this weird movie, and where this guy cuts off his hand, and he's trying to shoot it through, and just pauses at a mouse hole and gives him the bird. I didn't understand any of this until rediscovering these movies much later because of Bruce Campbell. I didn't know who Bruce Campbell was, but I do remember in high school, my senior year, arguing with the teacher and discussing with the teacher how someone could run a car and operate a car without gasoline, because at that point Army of Darkness was coming out. But again, I wasn't really into horror and stuff like Evil Dead 2 until much later. But I still love horror, the old school horror, because there's nothing like it. And I think that's why I like a lot of independent horrors, because independent horror kind of embraces the late 80s horror and
Aesthetic.
early 90s horror, because that's what was, to kind of paraphrase Joe Bob Briggs, blood, guts, boobs, and gore. That whole...
The Chaz Bullion school
Right.
of what is horror.
Right.
Now, one of the things, it's funny, we come from polar opposite backgrounds, but in this respect, we really come to, it's a cohesive quality here, and it all comes back to Evil Dead 2. So I was exposed to an amazing amount of films growing up, but I was raised here.
I'll be back.
Okay, hold that. Okay. I was raised around here, and at this time, things like slasher films, things like that were very popular. And even though I was raised around film, as far as horror film, the Village Voice had to say it was good. So I saw Cronenberg's The Fly. I saw Ken Russell's Altered States. Those are the films I saw. Later, probably around 15 or so, I saw Evil Dead 2. And it was like the floodgates open. I mean, I had been exposed to, I'd even seen Bergman films by that point. But, once I saw Evil Dead, that is what led me to the video store and to go A to Z, and led me to truly appreciate that, there are bad movies, there are good movies, and then there are bad movies that are made with love.
I've always said that when it comes to bad movies, let's take the original Troll movie. There's movies that I call have bounce. Please bear with me with this term. Is that they're so bad they bounce back to good.
Exactly.
They have bounce. Granted, there are probably plenty of films that don't have bounce, but when I was watching The Fly 2, and a plethora of what I call Saturday afternoon TV, as a kid, whether it be stuff like Reanimator and stuff like that, but I wasn't really appreciating the films. I was into them, but I wasn't really appreciating them. Now I can appreciate them, I can dissect them, and enjoy them much better because I can probably understand them much better and the process that goes into them. But I chalk up to being, one, naive, two, I was young, dumb, and stupid, if you want to use that bad analogy. But I'm happy to talk about the movies. I think I know more what goes into them, and I could say, all right, me knowing some filmmakers, I could say, okay, what goes into a process of doing a film like this? And I tend to know a little bit more. And talking to folks like yourself as well also helps.
Well, you mentioned, from what you're talking about, when actually Sasha is back, I wanted to bring this up. We all grew up to a certain extent, whether it be younger. I was just telling him about the fact that I was not exposed to a lot of horror films when I was younger.
Right.
I was exposed to Altered States, I was exposed to The Fly, but there were ones that were, the upper crust films. Around 15, I'd ended up watching Evil Dead 2 and the floodgates opened. But what truly, is a factor in whether or not these movies are good is, of course, there's the nostalgia element. But as you watch them continually as you get older, you go like 2-3 years, maybe even a decade before you see them, you watch them again and you go, wow, this is exceptional. And this is what's, drawn me into, the world of Lucio Fulci. Is, Lucio Fulci's films I always thought were cool and things like that. And then as I've watched them, as I've grown older, I found more and more depth to them.
Right.
I recently watched The Psychic. And, after watching The Psychic, Who Could Torture a Duckling, and Lizard in a Woman's Skin, I came to, when you're at, 43 and you're going, wow, I finally made this connection to all his films that, that's when you see that, films that have been dismissed actually are really quite good. And it really comes down to, are you making the film out of love?
Now, let me just say this. For you, it's like you were talking about Altered States and all that, which is striking a little bit of a memory, is that what really got me into wanting to know more about film and the process of making it was one of my other favorite films was the original Clash of Titans.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
The fact of, how it was placed, not just in the story, but all aspects of it. It's like, I want to know how, because you had stop motion, you had the whole plethora of everything just shoved into this movie.
That was Harryhausen's last film, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
I think so, yeah.
But it was wonderfully done. And I remember kind of my father just saying, what, him being the older generation in regards to this, he's thinking on the aspect, again, no offense, Sasha, the fact that I'm watching this film because of the Romanesque aspects of things, and therefore I could be not being the atypical heterosexual male in regards to this, yet I'm watching this because of the special effects. Mm-hmm. And he's probably thinking that I'm watching this film because I'm liking men in tights. Men in poses.
You just like the fucking...
well, it's not like you're watching Satyricon or something. So...
And I don't think he was fully understanding why I was watching a film in regards to this, in regards to the brilliance of how it was put together, why it was put together, and why it was probably one of the earlier films that sparked an interest to me. It's just like I know my fear. I wouldn't say my fear. My spark of clowns annoy me is directly associated with Poltergeist.
Okay, yes.
Poltergeist. And my cousin, saying, you gotta watch Poltergeist. And I'm like 5 years old at the time. And it's on HBO. And my cousin's like 10. And here I am, like, I can't sleep now to this day. I can't sleep with the closet door open. I can't sleep with any type of clown in the room. No, this ain't happening. Why? Poltergeist, motherfucker. It's all my cousin's fault.
Well, you mentioned Poltergeist, and that I bring Sasha. If you will have me back on another show, I'd love to talk about the concept of the rating system in the United States.
Well,
because
before we go there,
a very interesting monster.
Before we go there, because you are more educated on this stuff than I am. I just love shit.
No.
I love bad horror movies. I just have a good time with it. But if, and granted, this is a project I'm working on because me and my boys, Matt Anderson and Craig, Michael, Rosenthal? Chris, come on, help me out. Rosenthal? Craig, Michael, Rosenthal, is that right?
Might be. And Trevor, if you haven't watched the documentary yet, find it. It might be still on Netflix. It's called This Film Is Not Yet Rated. It's all about the ratings.
Yes. But
wonderful documentary on that.
I'm working with them to have like films on the regular locally. And I don't know if you know my one friend up in Carlisle. He works for Scream Magazine, and I can't think of what the other magazine is. But he hosts like regular horror movies and weird.
But that's the guy who used to work for Tim at Video Watchdog.
Yes.
My friend John Arminio has been meaning. I've been friends with Tim Lucas for years, so I've been meaning to go up there just to the fact that we have a mutual friend.
Dude. Like some weekend we'll just go up. It'll be fine.
Well, they showed Mandy this past weekend.
Yes, and
I just got a chance to actually experience. I'll be honest with you. I just got out of a relationship that has a lot of elements of Mandy.
Well, fuck that movie. Let me put it this way. Trevor, he's going to show fucking Daggone here soon.
Oh.
Fucking Daggone.
And let's be honest here, as far as Lovecraft adaptations, Stuart Gordon did a beautiful job bringing what is basically a 7-page short story to life. And I interviewed Stuart Gordon years ago.
Oh my God!
One of the things we talked about was Daggone. It was amazing.
I love Daggone, but fuck Daggone for 5 whole seconds. Rewatch, and you're gonna laugh, but seriously, rewatch it for its technical aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Space Truckers.
No, I'm not gonna say that's a weird thing. No.
Because that movie.
Yes.
Is fucking good.
Watch that. Isn't Space Trucker one of those movies that goes by like 50 different names as well?
No, I don't think so.
Well, not to rewind, but I'm going to rewind here.
Go ahead.
I think it's very important. You talked about Clash of the Titans.
Yes.
And when you compare that versus, the remake of Clash of the
Oh,
Titans.
God.
The thing is...
There's 2 of them.
Well, there's 2 of them, yes. But we're looking at, we're all roughly around the same age. And I remember being a kid, and there were so many aspects of that film. Medusa, good God, talk about a freak out thing. If you weren't familiar, and I was vaguely familiar with mythology to begin with.
Oh my God! Did you know there was an action figure series of fucking?
I've had them. Okay, I had those, and I also had the Dune action figures.
Oh my God!
My left hand to have that damn sandworm again because I had it.
I was lucky to have where I had friends that had the almost the complete collection of either Transformers, Star Wars, He-Man, or here's a note. I wanted the metal version of Voltron when it came out.
Oh,
but
the Dragokin, yes.
Folks, again, at that time, I don't know. When you're about 5 to 10 years old, you don't really understand financial situations all that well.
Yard sales.
And they didn't really go to a lot of yard sales to get that stuff for me anyway. But that's another story. There was so much. I look at, especially on Facebook, it's like, do you remember when? And they show up an old KB's toy store's ad. And I'm like, oh. Yeah, show me all the stuff my parents will not buy me as a kid. But that's, like I said, that's another story. But I still had a lot of metal Tonka trucks and Matchbox cars. And I had a few He-Man and, Transformers and the whatnot. But that was my 80s life. But
well, since we're talking about 80s life and toys, I was lucky enough to actually, have a lot of these things. And, when you're a kid, you think about, you get to a certain point where there's money, and you're like, oh, I can get money, so I'm going to go ahead and sell all this shit at a yard sale. I mean, I pretty much had all the original He-Man figures.
Oh, my God.
I said about the Dune. All these, like the most obscure things, all the Star Wars stuff. And, part of me is a collector and goes, I wish I had, and then part of me is like, I really wish I had these for my kids, because toys are not what they used to be.
Yeah,
it's just your imagination.
That's the fun thing is, like, I don't have any kids right now, but I want to go through the process. I know it's stereotypical. I want to go through the process of have a child of my own and have that child of my own. And
I can let you loan a few if you want them.
No, sorry, I ain't loaning. I'm not participating on Child on Demand. Thank you very much. But,
you can have a few. I can give them to you.
Children.
But Sasha's seen me post up on Facebook several times, like, what's the point of being a parent if you can't control your kids every now and again? But I have a nice big, it's not a toy chest, you can call it a toy chest if you want. It's literally a large industrial barrel of 80 toys that I had from my childhood.
Okay.
Yeah. Old school Lincoln Logs, Transformers, He-Man, Matchbox, Star Wars. Stuff that's probably worth money today. And it's like, but I want to pass this stuff off to my child when I finally have one. But it's one of those things like, yeah, I could have had my own child, but thankfully I broke up with that goat-kissing bitch. But still.
I can feel the love,
yes, so much love.
It turns my heart.
Sasha knows all the goat jokes I put on my Facebook page, and I'm sure a lot of my friends that are part of my Facebook page that are from the same area and don't know the reference of why there are goat jokes every now and again. Wondering, like, why is every now and again Chris posting up goat jokes? The thing is, Sasha knows why.
Yes.
Big Cat knows why. Mad Eye Marky knows why, and a buddy of mine named Brian knows why. Other than that, no one knows why I put up goat jokes. And and I've told my buddy Mad Eye, it's like, listen, if my ex ever sees all these goat jokes, she will never know why there's goat jokes. And that they were
intrigued by the goat jokes, and also intrigued by Sasha giving a monkey a proctological exam.
There we go.
So continue with the goat jokes. I'm intrigued, and the liquor's starting to kick in.
Ian's having a good time.
Yeah, it's already kicked in. The aspect of it is, it goes back that it's a long. I'm not going to get into the long story of why I broke up with my ex. It's just that a lot of my friends, as most good friends do, they poke fun and they try to bring you away from this. It's that one of my acquaintances that I
Have fun,
made
buddy.
through my best friend Mad was trying to, because he knows my aspect of why I don't like to step on Pennsylvania grounds, because I have a lot of bad experiences in Pennsylvania. And
Yes.
Sasha, you're not included in all this.
Oh, I know that, but still.
But it's mainly the Carbon County area of Pennsylvania that stems from this. My feet burn if I touch that area of the state. It's also
And
my
Billy Joel's Allentown plays in the back.
Right. It's also my island from Lost. Is that Carbon County area? But with her, she used to live in this area of town, and we broke up. Kind of bad circumstances. Whether or not the statute of limitations legally has run out or not, I don't know. But
Okay.
Statutes of limitations.
But the aspect is acquaintance of me and Mad Eyes was kind of like trying to pick information from me one night on Xbox Live, and one of the questions as soon as my Mad Eye came into the party chat was this person. Now he already got the fact that she was from the area, and roughly where she lived and all that, but I was being vague. And he asked, his question was she or was she not a porn star?
Okay.
And I think the reason why he asked that question is that both me and Mad Eye both actually knew a porn star during this time. And my response to this was, well, there was that one photo that she claimed she had that she took of herself in the bathroom to send to somebody else. I never got to see, but you know what? You could say she was
Does that actually truly count as porn star?
Well, we were just, we found that this was the horse that we were going to, in essence, beat to death because it was funny. And it created a laugh between the three of us that when we said porn star, the three of us would laugh. Now, another mutual friend of ours got into Xbox chat. We had to explain all this in-joke to him. Now, he's almost an expert troll.
Okay.
And when he heard in regards to the whole porn star, his first thought was, did she do anything with farm animals, especially goats? And it was just great timing. It's like, yeah, she kissed a goat.
Does it involve goat cheese?
Thank you for that.
Yeah, as I said, it started.
Thank you for resurrecting that horse that we can now proudly rebeat to death. So, the whole aspect of kissing a goat and me kissing a goat by proxy is the thing. So I've put out the open challenge to a lot of folks that know what she looks like and who she is, that if they ever see her at Walmart, I will gladly pay for a complete steak dinner, which includes side, baked potato, and beer, if they go up to her and provide me proof that they went up to her and shake her hand and ask for an autograph for the work she did in Farm Animal 3.
Oh,
Nice.
God.
I love the fact you said in Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart. Of all
That
places.
even makes it so much better.
And what's even funnier is that after this whole incident, my buddy Matt and I went to Walmart and saw her there, thought of this whole instance of her doing bestiality with goats, crashed his, because he has to use a mobility goat cart,
Okay.
crashed his cart into an end cap because he was laughing too damn hard. I was like, if you got it
maybe
on
that beats my background as far. I think Sasha shared it with you, but that's for another time and another place of strange shit when it comes to women.
Significant others are always complicated. I don't care. I mean, I'm pan, so male, female, it's interesting when dealing with other people.
I don't know what the hell is up anymore. Yeah. So, okay, what were we on? We got on Ghost. What were we talking about before that?
Well, we touched on Marvel, we touched on Aliens, I'm trying to think of what's, like, big in, like, fucking fandom right now.
Well, we talked about cuts of films and, finding different cuts and things like that. And we talked a little bit about our childhood and stuff like that. Since we talk
about, like, cuts of film. All right.
Yes,
so
I wanted to go there, actually.
So, as weird as it sounds,
yes.
And granted, I have watched many movies, from cable to video to Laserdisc. What's that?
Really?
Yes.
I would never have known.
Plenty of films.
That's shocking.
Have honestly seen on TV somewhere at some time a cut of The Thing that not only had one of the sled dogs leave the camp, but fucking Kurt Russell get the blood test.
Yeah, the work print.
But, to some degree, I hate to say it, that Thing print, The Thing, exists on television. My mind says it's there. And I don't know if anybody else has saw that.
There's actually a website out there that is, I think it's called filmcensorship.com, that actually, if you are looking for any, and the thing is, it doesn't just do censorship, it breaks down additional cuts. That, if there are different cuts of films, it has studied what cuts there are, and will show you what the different prints are. Okay. So you might want to look into that. That might be where you find it.
But, like, nobody has this print. Like, all the Thing fans that are out there, and yes, I hang out with Thing fans, because I've got that kind of weird obscurity. But
it's greatest genre films ever made.
But
even though it is a remake, of course, a remake from an adaptation of a book.
But, like, nobody...
And there's an innuendo joke in reference to the Sasha liking The Thing.
I like The Thing. But
The Thing?
Couple times possibly implied. I can't put my finger on it, but I'm sure it's there.
But you get what I'm saying.
And then it becomes a British comedy.
But out there...
being served.
And to me, at least...
I loved that show until my parents got into it.
I know I've seen it.
The best. Salute.
Salute.
But the worst part of it is I know I've seen it. And that what bugs me. Because there's tons of people who say they've seen it, but nobody has it out there.
Well, in best case scenario, the director does not want it out there. Yet again, the work print idea, in which you have something that, it was the original, work print cut, and they cut it. That's why, a good example of, work print in which, it's meant to be. I don't know what you guys think, but, one of my all-time favorite films is The Exorcist.
Oh, yes.
And, I do find the sequel hilarious because I love all things that's Burton, including the
Paul's on The Exorcist.
Okay.
Just The Exorcist alone. Did you see the re-release when it hit theaters back in the day?
Yes, I did.
Yes, okay, but go on. I just wanted to know.
Here's one of the most underrated best sequels is Blatty's Exorcist 3.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, Shout Factory released as much of his cut as possible, because it was based on his book Legion, which is amazing. But that's a beautiful example of various cuts. And being part of a generation in which, as I said before, my element of expertise tends to be in Italian cinema, in foreign cinema. And that was a total debacle. At some point in this podcast, we mentioned multiple names. You had films coming out under 5 different names.
Yes.
You had film missing, 20 minutes. And for some bizarre reason, they felt that the U.S. market could not take gore, and they padded it out with absurdist stuff. So something that actually should be 90 minutes was released about 70 minutes. conventions.
Yeah.
And, I remember going to the conventions. And, conventions in itself, there's a wonderful topic. One of the great memories I have.
What are you drinking? Hold on. What are you drinking now, Chris? What do you got there?
This? Just a typical Coke.
I saw this weird bottle going into his face, and I'm like, what the fuck?
A typical Wheeze Cola, that's it.
Yeah, but what do you got with it?
I'm all out of rum.
Anyways, I'm sorry. I just saw him hitting this shit.
But I've got a funeral to go to tomorrow, too. So.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. Sorry about your loss.
So, well, shit happens. So, but talking about various cuts and things like that. So I was able to, my mother insisted that my father take me to, I forget what anniversary it was, the Famous Monsters of Filmland down in Virginia. And I remember finding the itinerary and the shit that I didn't go see, Isaac Asimov and Ray Harryhausen and everything, having panels the other didn't go see. But I was obsessed with finding interesting things, in the showroom. And, I'm walking around as a kid and I look up and guess who is standing there? Landis and Dante.
Oh,
and
wow.
So, kid, what do you got? And they look at that, and they look at what I have, and they go, hey, have you ever heard of John Woo? And that was actually my first experience with John Woo. They recommended that I get A Better Tomorrow. And then, of course, like, what place? But, that was one of those things from my childhood that, was, huge. And then, of course, when I got into John Woo, then I discovered that, there were Asian markets that had video stores. So then I got into all the, John Woo films, Ringo Lam films, just endless numbers of stuff. But I guess it was my meeting of Tim Lucas, just when the Video Watchdog book came out, that it truly became an obsession of finding these various cuts. And, I guess it's taken a little bit of the fun out of, discovering movies now that, Blu-ray and everything
each
version. Because there was something about, tracking down, Suspiria in 3 different cuts and having all different cuts and comparing them. There was something about, growing up as a horror fan.
Right.
That was special.
No.
Let me just say this. My convention experience was way different than yours, Trevor. I remember my first official, quote-unquote official convention was back in, I want to say, 94, 95, maybe.
Okay.
I was living in Florida at the time. I think it was either Citrus Springs or Ocala at the time. Folks out there, don't quote me on this because I barely remember which city I was living in, and none of you know anyway, so screw you. I think it was I was living in Ocala at the time, and please, side note.
Oh, by the way, stop. Just so you all know, we're at 800 views right now between PlayStation Network and YouTube. Just so you know, because that's why I like doing this shit.
I will say this. Me, even though I'm a big sci-fi geek and somewhat of I've always been that sci-fi geek, pop culture geek. When I was living in Florida, and I still am, I was a Florida Seminoles fan. I still am.
Mm-hmm.
I swear by that. And I was living in Ocala, which is just south of Gainesville, California, Gainesville, Florida, which is Gator country. And dang it! And now I have another freaking arch nemesis, Gator fan. It was hard.
I don't know shit about sports, so
I know nothing about sports unless it's boxing and fucking beating the shit out of
college rivalry is a thing, and it's much more fierce than professional sports. And FSU and Florida and the Gators aspect that's in the college that's in Gainesville they will literally kill those who are in Gainesville that will literally almost kill someone who's a Florida State fan.
Okay.
And here I was, a Florida State fan, going constantly to Gainesville every now and again. But that's beside the point. My first official convention was a Star Trek convention that was It was small. I wouldn't say Florida, 4 states small. It was your atypical hotel ballroom and then maybe a few conference rooms. Small. I think their major guest was Michelle Barrett.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, this was my first official convention. And I've always told many folks that don't know about conventions or never been to a convention before, it's a lot like sex. Meaning that...
Wait. I don't know what kind of sex you've had, but go on.
Meaning...
I think where you're going with this.
I'm kind of curious.
I get the same reaction, like, what do you mean it's a lot like sex? Well, when you go to your first convention, you don't know what to expect. You could read all the material, you could watch all the videos, and see all the photos, but you don't know what... You can walk in, and it's just overwhelming, it's awkward, and if it's done right, you can walk out wanting a cigarette and hungry. So, but... or you can walk out... Yeah. Or you can walk out completely confused. And in essence, that was me when I walked out of this, this small Star Trek convention. I was completely confused because here I was, the Star Trek fan, and here was all these nerds who knew way more about Star Trek than this fan ever did. Because they had a trivia contest, and it was like, okay, here's an easy one. First question, 23 parts, and each part has 5 answers. I'm like, what? What do you mean 5? And why is that question easy? But it was just I ran into the deep fans that would be like me, Sasha, and yourself, and it's like I was just hanging near a bunch of folks that have been to Star Trek conventions before. They were comparing their cred in a way. It's like, oh, I got William Shatner's, I got Patrick Stewart's, I got this person, that person, and so forth and so on. And here I was, the first official autograph I got was Michelle's Barrett's autograph at that show, but I had an ace in the hole.
Yep.
And my ace in the hole was that my grandma, when she worked in New York City, one of the people that frequent the store that she worked at was Whoopi Goldberg.
Okay.
And she got an autograph from Whoopi for me and my cousin. And that was my ace in the hole. And they just turned to me because every nerd that goes to a convention smells new blood.
Yep.
Yes. And that could be a good or a bad thing.
Yeah, it could be a good or bad thing. And it's like, you're cleaner than the rest of us. But it's like, who do you got? I'm like, well, this is my first convention. I got Michelle's, autograph. I'm happy to get it. Got something for a friend of mine. And, oh, by the way, I have Whoopi Goldberg's autograph. And they were just like, wait, what? How the hell did you manage to do that? I was like, thank you. I win. I'm gone. Just one of those victory with one.
Woo!
Thank you. So,
no. You mentioned about Star Trek. You're a Star Trek fan, then, I'm assuming.
I was for the longest time a Star Trek fan. I moved from being a Star Trek fan to more so a Star Wars fan because I respect any fandom that's able to make keg raiders that look like droids from Star Wars.
You can be a fan of both. I'm just throwing it out there.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's truly
true.
I'm just saying you can be a fan of both. Just leave it out there. You need to like Doctor Who, and so be a fan of both.
Tom Baker forever, mother.
Yeah, Tom Baker forever.
He is my doctor.
Trevor, did you hunt for Doctor Who?
What?
Growing up?
What's that?
Did you hunt for Doctor Who growing up?
I was exposed to it by my mother. My mother.
No, what I mean is, like I said, I moved around a lot as a kid, meaning when I got into Doctor Who, I was living in Pennsylvania at the time, watching it on PBS, like a lot of people.
Yes.
When I moved out of Pennsylvania, my aspect of things was I hope to God the PBS there had Doctor Who. I hope to God I got to hunt for it. I gotta hunt for it. I gotta find Doctor Who. If the PBS station where I'm living at now, going to live at in Florida, has Doctor Who, I'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, it was that, okay, I'm moving out of this area, Florida, this area. I've got to hunt for it again. Moving from Florida to Virginia and West Virginia, I got to hunt for it again.
Yeah.
That to me, that was the mark of a fan, hunting for
exactly
fandom.
What PBS was doing as far as BBC stuff.
Right.
Now, I had mentioned about Star Trek. I don't know if I've ever, I'm sure, and I've told you this, Sasha, but to give you an idea, I'm a huge original series Star Trek fan. Now, it was based more, of course, on, Next Gen and some of the other ones, but my marriage, at one time, I got married on the bridge of the USS Enterprise, the Klingon Witness in Vegas.
Oh, Trevor, did you see the cartoon?
Damn.
Have you seen the cartoon before?
Oh, yeah.
I grew up watching the original series and the cartoon.
Yep, I've seen both.
I stumped diehard Star Trek fans with animation trivia.
I actually ended up buying the animated series when it was available for my kids because my kids were always exposed to Star Trek. Well, I'm going to jet for 5 minutes again to use the facilities and also run out for something, but I should be back.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'll annoy Sasha for a
No. So, here's something I kind of want to touch on. Because outside of comic books and movies, go get your drink, Trevor. Go.
Okay, well,
go, bye.
I'll get your drink.
You brought up a subject. So, okay, well, bring me back into the loop when I'm back.
I will bring you back. Go, bye.
Go.
So, since we're talking about like controversial subjects and things of that nature, I'm trying to think of something so controversial that doesn't involve Disney and Marvel and whatnot. Come on, Chris, give me something.
Let me put it like this. Let's see, how much hate do you want?
I don't care. Let's go. Right now, we're at 1,000 views on PlayStation.
Let's do it with the YouTube algorithms because we don't care anyway. Brie Larson wasn't that good as Scott Morton. Oh! No. But...
Well, let's skip Marvel. Let's skip Disney.
Last Jedi wasn't that good of a movie. Oh! No.
No, let's skip Star Wars. Hey, let's go into video games. What's big in video games right now?
Big in video games. Apex Season 1 is ending.
No, it's a TV show, ain't it? Video games. Okay. I got it.
How's Anthem for your PS4?
But he wants to play Anthem on PS4. But anyways, video games, when it comes to the whole emulation scene and ROMs, how do you feel about everybody cracking down on ROMs?
You mean Nintendo cracking down on ROMs?
Everything on ROMs lately.
I think ROMs does have its place in regards to historical aspects and preservation. But when it comes to if you're someone who's in financial kind of restrictions, let's say myself, that is capable of saving enough money to get a Raspberry Pi and putting together their own, let's say, NES library or SNES library or TurboGrafx library. Even though it's not really looked, I won't say looked down upon, it kind of is, but it's not really, hey, congratulations, but still, I'm for it because it gives somebody entertainment and pleasure in regards to it. The homebrew market in regards to those games is phenomenal. Whether or not, again, you still have like companies like Nintendo and probably I think Blizzard that kind of look down upon those homebrews with severe disgust and dismay. It's like, oh, you have this homebrew. You're taking away money from old school Link or whatever, yet it's a brand new game. But it's weird, and it should, especially if someone who knows how to code. But then again, you have homebrews. I think it was a Game 4. It was a homebrew. It was like, in essence like Castlevania, but it wasn't. It made it to Xbox Live Arcade. It's in that vein of Castlevania, but it's done very well. But
well, let's say, like straight up, not just like homebrew, because homebrew is a complete inventation of said game. Okay? Let's talk about like an emulation of the actual game that you were playing. Like an actual emulation of Castlevania, 100%. Any other game you can name, like 100%, no fucking stray sides. And granted, you can't buy it anywhere else unless you pay that $200-300 for that cartridge, or that $400 or $500 for that cartridge, or that $600 for that cartridge. Do you think it's wrong for somebody to enjoy that game as it was originally meant to be enjoyed, online or not?
Yeah, I agree with that. Kind of case in point. Both of you know probably him more personally than I do, and that is the angry video game nerd himself.
Oh, Dave! Yeah.
He wanted to review Earthbound, and because he didn't have it in his widely diverse library, he didn't have it, and when for his video, he showed this. He looked at it and saw it was like several $100s. He was like, and I don't know if it was scripted or it was initial reaction. He was like, I'm not paying several $100s for this game, even though it's not in my collection. But I have this Super NES, which is in essence has the game on it and its emulation. It's the same game.
Yes.
But it's also an emulation. I'm able to now present my review to you with this game, emulating it on something that's way cheaper, and I'm able to, again, provide it for all of you to enjoy and play for yourself. So.
Well, yes, with the SNES, like the Mini, you can enjoy Earthbound. Everybody can enjoy it. But there are some games outside of that unless you have a fucking wealth of money, you can't enjoy. Like, what the fuck is it called? God damn it, it's on the tip of my tongue. Where you play as like a dude, a fucking mouse, a dragon, and something else.
I don't know. It doesn't even.
NES. It's an NES classic game. Little Samson. Fucking Little Samson.
I'm so happy that you guys got on this subject because I have no reference point to video games at all.
Yes. But like when it comes to Little Samson, unless you have like, and granted, this is the current market price, and it fucking blows my mind, a loose copy of Little Samson. And I'm not talking about like manual whole nine yards, just a fucking cart with the game on it. Unless you got $800, you are not enjoying that game.
Now there's a game. It's called Stadium Events. That's more than.
Alright, whoa. Before you go on to Stadium...
Sasha, I'm just bringing this up as an example. Stadium Events for the NES is between $5,000 and $15,000. If box wrapped up.
If it's marked as Stadium Events and not the remarketed version that Nintendo put out later. Because the Nintendo version is cheaper.
from what I heard this was through the CU podcast, Like 'Em or Hate 'Em, that there was a gentleman, because the game is worth several $1,000s. He had not just mint in one copy mint in box. He had several cases of this game mint in box.
Yes.
Meaning he had the box itself with like several of these games in it. Mm-hmm. And this person got so sick and tired of seeing in like forums of people back end deals, being assholes and elitists and all that. He said, you know what? Guess what? I have three boxes, 18 copies of this game worth several $1,000s. He said, I am so pissed of all of you doing this. I'm going to find somebody that really wants this game, and I'm going to sell it to them for $1 because I want all of you guys to go F yourselves.
But
that's what he did. He went out, he found somebody that truly wanted the game, and he sold them one of the games.
Trevor knows. I'm like, I'm biting this fucking bitch.
He got banned from the forum because he did this just to spite people. And what this does is that because this sale is now on record for $5, it ruins the average price for all these that particular game because he sold it for that run. And he's like, I don't care. I'd rather support the hobby of game collecting and enjoyment of it than what you suckers are doing to it.
But this takes us all the way back to a conversation we have more about paying it forward as far as media and appreciation of media.
But with stadium events is a rebranded game. You can get the same damn game for a minuscule amount of the price, but it is the same damn game.
But with this kind of collecting, how can anyone say that physical media will die?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's the same damn game. I can ROM hack that shit all day and bring it back to the original version, which is way cheaper than stadium events. Because if you look it up, they rebranded it as a Nintendo pad, and they sold shit tons of that, but the stadium event version didn't sell that much. But it is the same damn game. Now
this is why I use Big Candy as a reference a lot of times, because he's a very diehard sports card collector, and he sees a lot of the same issues in other hobbies, whether it be comics and other collector video games and so forth and so on. It's almost the same model, where you have a limited run or a one of one. It's like, how do you place a value on a one of one issue that you have and you want to get rid of? Now you're making a price of, it's again, granted, it's something that somebody is willing to pay for. That means if you want $1,000 for it and someone's willing to pay $1,000 for it, then that one of one sports card that you have is now worth $1,000. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of hard to compare it to something else. Meaning, if it's a 2 of 2, there's an average or a model if there's more than one.
But we're talking about digital content. I can rewrite that with a chip and make it the same game as the one that's rare.
Well, here, I'm jumping into the middle of a conversation about video games that I don't know jack shit about. But when I started back into comic books, I started back with original copies, or like individual copies of, the books themselves.
I'm sorry, I just still like this topic. Oh my god.
Okay, so I found myself actually, doing the collector thing. I'd get a copy, I'd put it in a bag and board, and I'd put it away, and I'd find myself not reading it. And then it hit me, wait, I'm holding on to this thing and not appreciating it, which is an unfortunate thing about fandom. which I think kind of connects as is coming into the middle of the conversation.
Yeah.
And also I just have to point out that, as I said before, I'm going to a funeral tomorrow. And at this point, I've had enough to drink that I'm starting to be reminiscent of William Hurt in The Big Chill.
Yeah.
I'm just feeling like I should go to the funeral in sunglasses and have cocaine taped to the bottom of my car. Well, you can't always get what you want played in the background. So, sorry, a little bit off.
Because you can always simulate that situation, just buy a bag of flowers, duct tape it to underneath your car, and still go with sunglasses.
And I'm a pallbearer, too. You know?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Thankfully, Kevin Costner was not cut out of this funeral, so.
Yeah, like I said, podcasts for me just go all over the fucking board, so just have fun with it. But
Trevor, you please take this as a compliment. You could always put a nice hat on your brimmed hat and just go as Heisenberg for a little while.
Nice. I get the Heisenberg thing a lot.
you get that whole beard and everything else going on, he's set.
Yes. I am danger.
I am the one who knocks.
Yes.
Oh my god. But still, when it comes to, comic books and horror movies and anything, as a fan, honestly, between you two, what excites you most?
You can go first, Chris.
In regards to collecting or in general?
Fuck, in general. Have fun with it. Go to 10.
For me, even though it's kind of easier now to, if I had the funds, it's the hunt. It's always been the hunt. Trying to find what I've been looking for or the new thing at the cheapest prices I can and the most authentic. Has always been the best. As a collector, as a hobbyist, as a geek, is that hunt. And that will always be there for me. I know there's a lot of new blood in the stream that it's like, hey, I could easily find it on eBay, but it's not at the level that I'm at now. It's like, it's not just comics for me right now. It's going past, all right, here's a new issue. All right, I don't want a new issue. Yeah. I want to be able to find the lithograph. I want the page art. I want that film cell. I want, that production cell for animation. I want the higher end stuff. And it's the hunt of finding the right cell, the right page art by the right person. It's that I love. And it's that level of thrill. To one of your favorite quotes, Sasha, is "thrill me," and that's from
Trevor. Wait, stop, Trevor. Where's it from?
What, Night of the Creeps?
Yes. Okay, go on.
Yeah. It's that thrill.
Well, I had to test you.
It's why I like conventions like Ford State. Again, for those listening, it's this Saturday and Sunday in Hagerstown, Maryland. Go see it.
I might have to take the kids. I don't know what my ex will think about it, but I might have to take them.
But that be the case if you're there on Saturday, I'll be there on Saturday, and I hope to see you.
I'd love to be there.
Saturday and Sunday, come out. We're going to be there. We're going to podcast.
They're definitely on Saturday.
I have no money, but I'd love to meet everybody.
No, if you just show up for the after parties and fucking bullshit with me, I don't care.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I'm going to take my kids to the after parties.
No, well, if you want to, but still, I'm down.
Trevor, let me put it like this. I'm always the first person to say, it's like, if you have enough to at least get yourself in the door, you don't really need any money for a convention, because there's a lot of folks that will consider everybody family, literally.
Sasha and I had this conversation a couple nights ago.
Yes. We're all family.
Let me put it like this.
Fucked up family, but we family.
I want to say it's 2013. I bribed a coworker of mine to take me to Baltimore Comic-Con, and what I mean by bribe is like, listen, I'll pay for gas, food, and your ticket through the door if you'll take me. And he was like, okay, I can't turn down that deal. And he's like, besides, I've never been to a comic convention before. And it's like, do you think I'll like it? I said, I'm almost sure of it. And he's like, do I need any money? It's like, listen, I'm paying for you to get the fuck in. Don't worry about it. And he was like, he walked in and he's like, listen, I didn't expect, he said, I'm a Matchbox card collector. I didn't expect that there to be Matchbox card vendors here. I didn't expect this vendor to be here. I didn't expect this vendor to be here. I should have actually brought money. I'm like, but did you have a great time today? He's like, yes, I had an amazing time. And that's what I told you and it's like, granted, the floor stage is $15 at the door. You can hang out all day and not really spend a dime.
La Familia, they geek them.
Yeah, it's that aspect of the familiarity. It's the geekdom. You're there with everybody. You talk to everybody. Granted, there are some conventions that are bigger and better. I chose Baltimore, even though I got retired going to Baltimore, and I don't have the funds to go to Baltimore anymore. But I use it as a reference because, again, you don't need money to go to spend at Baltimore because you have all the panels. I know there was one panel one year that was all about the indie comic book market, and there was another panel about how comics get banned and what the process is to get them unbanned. So you have a lot of education. Yeah,
you will have fun
at conventions. So you can spend the whole day.
That would actually interest Ingrid. Ingrid is one of those kids that's, it's funny. I've been lucky enough, my son is very much into the big monster movies and stuff like that. But my daughter's a huge Charlie Chaplin fan. And she loves, we spent,
God damn it, Trevor, me and your kids are hanging out. You can hang out with my teenager, I'll hang out with your kids, we'll have fun.
There's nothing quite like making fun of DeMille's Cleopatra with my daughter.
Oh!
It's amazing.
No, you have not had fun until you made fun of Matango all day long.
Okay, true. So,
it is bad. And when my 13-year-old goes, how fucking stoned are these people? I have to laugh. And if you see Matango, you know what I'm talking about.
Honestly, I'm not. I have to increase my palate in regards to movies, though.
Well, I don't want to interrupt, but we were talking about collecting and where it fits in. And mine is twofold. Let's take it back to when I was younger, in the conventions. And I'm going to use one specific example, my hunt for Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh.
And this is going back, I'm 43, so you give you an idea when I was trying to find Cannibal Holocaust.
Honey, you and I are on the same page.
Let me tell you my story here. So we went to Fanix. And I went for everybody in the kitchen sink to find this. Eventually, I found a 5th-generation copy of Cannibal Holocaust. And then eventually, 3 days later, I ended up watching this 5th-generation version of Cannibal Holocaust, as far as a transfer, over breakfast with my mother and father. So that film always has a place for me. So that really, solidified my collecting. Now, my collecting as a 43-year-old, and I'm curious to get your guys' take on this, is movies and music, especially movies. A film seems to have taken a place in almost every memory I have. So many films I can connect to an individual memory. So it's almost a necessity for me to get, when Streets of Fire came out, that film was connected to a particular time and things like that. And that to me is where collecting has become so big. I was exposed to so much film, from, the age of 5 on to, the age of I like to say, it was, even though I expanded it afterwards, my mother died when I was 19, that was kind of my reference point as far as memories. So kind of where does that fit into your collecting, your memories of the item itself?
Well,
for me, I'll let Sasha go.
No. Go ahead.
For me, it was in regards to memories of. I want to say about 2 years back in 2017. Like I said, I enjoy collecting some of the higher end items, or that is more of a rarity to some. And I got into getting production cells for cartoons. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I always wanted was something from Thundercats.
Oh, the original Thundercats.
Yes, the original stuff. especially Chitara. Something was Chitara. And I finally had, during my peak schedule where I worked, I had the money to get 2 cells off of eBay that were, I didn't mind if the backgrounds were repos. I just wanted the production cell. I got one that was strictly Chitara. Another one that had Panthro, Tiger, and Chitara on it. And I think I spent like close to $500 for the both of them. And that, to me, that was like something on my childhood that I wanted. But what really solidified me, or started, I wouldn't say not just comics, but when I moved to Inwood, is during that time, I wanted the original. It wasn't on DVD or VHS here in the States, and that was Transformers, the movie.
With the Wells.
The original Transformers, the movie, the animated movie. And I went to Suncoast at the time looking, because I remember seeing it when I was in Florida on VHS. And now that I had a job, I could had disposable income to play it off, to spend on getting my own copy of this movie that I wanted to watch. And I remember the folks at Suncoast saying, "Sorry, this movie's out of print. You will not find this anywhere."
Oh.
And again, this was the early days of, this was, I think, 98, 99. And still the internet was brand new. I was like,
they got out the big catalog. It's in print.
Yeah, they got out the catalog. They're like, you can't find this movie anywhere. And I was like, oh, really? And I got home and it was just like that spike. It's like, let me just find this movie here. Crack my knuckles, just be that keyboard warrior. And it's like, I got the internet now. Yes, it's 33, KBS, but still. I found a distributor out of Canada that had it. Literally, they had it, and it was like $25 with shipping. That was $20 for the film plus $5 for shipping. It was roughly that. If I could be off by a couple of bucks. If I am, sue me. But it was right.
No, but I know you're exactly right, because that was about how much those were going for.
Yeah.
Right.
They had the ads in Fangoria and the ads in Psychotronic. It was about $25 for a VHS.
And I said it was I did like a Yahoo or whatever the website was, the search engine back then was, and it was like for $25, that's with shipping and all that, you can get it. Transformers, the animated movie. It wasn't a bootleg. It came in a clamshell, literally like a Disney clamshell case. And I was like, when I got it in the mail, it was like, screw you, Suncoast. I got my copy, and you said I'll never find it. And I think that I don't have it part of my collection. The other movie that I wanted was, I forgot the name of it. It was one of those it was from Britain. It was, it started off as a live action that went to a animated movie. I forgot what it was called. It was, something babies, sea babies, ocean babies, or something like that. It took place somewhere in like the late 1800s in London.
Yeah, I got you.
And the kid was an orphan. He got quote unquote adopted by a couple of thieving chimney sweeps. Mm-hmm. And what happens is, okay, you're going to go in this building as the chimney sweep, and you're going to shimmy down the chimney, unlock the doors. We're going to start stealing stuff.
Okay.
Gets found out. He runs for his life. He falls in a river, and that's when the animated adventure takes place, and he has to rescue mermaids from, this shark king or some shit like that. It was just this weird musical British adventure that I remember as a kid.
That sounds wonderful.
It's weird. To me, it didn't. When I finally saw it again on, I think, some streaming service, might have been Netflix, I was like, oh, this movie doesn't hold up. Well, I don't know why I held it as such regard as a kid. Yet, again, this is the same person who I have to reach over and grab it. I found it at the yard sale. It is Reform School Girls. It's not. Honestly, it's not a porno. It's not even soft. It doesn't even classify as softcore porn. But I remember as a kid, I want to watch it because it's got a commentary track, but I don't want to watch it because, again, I remember watching it as a early teen, and it was like, it's one of those movies that it's like, yeah, it kind of helped shake me towards that way, and I watched it many times on HBO late at night, and it's like, I don't want I have this high memory regard for it in my memory, but I don't want to in any way spoil it.
Well, like a Fulci film or something like that, you know that it's not going to live up to with age.
Yeah,
you don't want to taint that that memory.
Yeah, it was like, for me, it's like, I don't want to taint that memory, but the part of me that wants to learn more about this movie with the commentary track, it's like, there's that part of me that almost like that film student type of aspect that wants to go back, listen to the commentary, see how good the commentary track is, see if I learn anything about it, because I'm sure even you would agree, Trevor, that there are many times that the commentary track really sucks. And there's other times that
there are 3 schools of commentary track, which I can bring up.
The reason why I say that is because let me give 2 examples. The one example is for the Tim Burton remake of Planet of the Apes.
Oh, yes. God.
Well, even though I kind of enjoyed the movie, I tried watching it with the commentary. It sucked because Tim Burton was just throwing on how he couldn't work with horses and this and that. It was so boring. I was like, I can't watch this. I don't even want the commentary track. Now, flip side, A Knight's Tale.
Mm-hmm.
The commentary track on that I loved it because the director was like, okay, I don't like horses that much, but that horse that's on the screen right now, that horse was the best horse that was ever on set. Hit its mark, was the nicest horse I've ever met.
Right.
And it was really a learning experience. And to go back to the other side, I'm a Farscape fan. I love Farscape. And I was rewatching one of my favorite episodes on DVD. They had a commentary for it, and the commentary had nothing to do with the episode. And I wanted to learn more about what was going on with the episode. And it was like, really? I'm better off. This was before podcasts were a thing. It was like, the best way to explain it is like listening to a sports commentary podcast over Star Trek II.
Mm-hmm.
It had nothing to do with the movie. That's pretty much what I was listening to in regards to the show. And it's like, I want to know more about why this happens and why this story came to be. So,
well, as I said, there are 3 schools of commentary, and I'm a huge fan of commentary. And to this day, I hope to be a talking head on of some commentary track of a film. So you have the one, which is, let's get people around to make fun of the film. And most of the time that's obnoxious.
Yes.
Then you have the third, which is the extraordinarily painfully academic take on it. Then you have people like Troy Hathaway and Stephen Frower and things like that who are huge lovers of film that will teach you about the film, but will also bring in their great love. And, that's the weird element of the commentary.
I'll be back.
That's so wonderful. I guess we can continue on with that discussion with it. I agree with you that there's probably 3 schools of thought, and my 2 favorite films in regards to additional tracks on a film, one of which is, whether you love it or hate it, I don't know, is Kung Pao. You have 4 tracks. One is the commentary track, which he's not academic, but he's telling you his process. He's teaching you about the film, why he did it, how his process was for a particular scene. Then another track is the actual, what you see on screen. Then you have an original audio that he used before the dub. So you have 3 versions of the film. And the other film is Bubba Hotep.
Oh, which is a great film, Costarelli's, yeah.
Which you have, again, you have the commentary track, and you have Bruce Campbell as Elvis commentating on the track. Plus, you have other commentaries on it. But that one track with Bruce Campbell commentating on the film as Elvis is a treat.
Yes.
Because it could be good, but it could be bad. But here's somebody in character commentating on the film. So
it's interesting. Now to take it all the way back, we talked about Thundercats. And it was a true pleasure. I mean, I was raised on those. I wasn't a big Saturday morning television kind of person, but there were a few cartoons that resonated. And Thundercats was one of them. And for a short time, Thundercats was available on Amazon, the original show. Of course, I talked about Shout Factory, and Shout Factory is, now doing their streaming service. And my kids fell in love with it. And it was just so, I didn't push it upon them. They just stumbled upon it and they loved it. So I got, the kids like a Panthro and a Lino and everything. And there's nothing quite like that feeling. When your kids discover something that they're so excited about without you pushing it upon that you were excited about growing up.
And that's what I like to see and hear in regards to that. You have to understand. I'm sure you could appreciate some of the older schools. Granted, nothing against stuff like Futurama or even South Park in regards to their anime styles. But what a lot of the younger generation fail to realize nowadays is with something like Thundercats or the old school He-Man, they had to literally frame by frame, draw it,
yes,
take a photo of it, and in essence to get it on screen. And that's the beauty of it. And when I watched the Transformers the animated movie commentary with the cast commentary, and they were just admiring the fact that somebody had to hand draw each scene in that level of detail, which you have to kind of, at least in some way, admire from an artistic point of view.
Mm-hmm. Well, you said about, and one of the things that I noticed, when it comes to Thundercats and it comes, mentioned Voltron before, and I really wanted to show my son Voltron because it was connected to everything that he kind of liked. And I discovered it came virtually yet again, not to down Shout Factory because I love Shout Factory and they're overpriced, was Voltron. And it was almost impossible outside of buying the Voltron box sets to find the original Voltron. Everything was this, reboot that Japan had been doing after. Of course they did the original Voltron, but they rebooted the Voltron several times. So I was never able to actually, and this is the thing for me is if my son's going to experience Voltron, he's going to experience how I've experienced Voltron. And it's become very hard to find those things. And then I think the same thing happened to Thundercats.
Yeah, it is. I know I spoke to Will Friedle, mm-hmm. who voiced the Lionel in the let's say the first reboot that was aired on Cartoon Network.
And Batman Beyond.
He, whether you I enjoyed that reboot, and speaking to somebody approached, and this was at Awesome Con a few years ago, and someone asked him, what was your favorite role, voice acting that you've done? He said, Lionel. He said, I would hope they bring that back because I really enjoyed voicing Lionel, and it was something else. And then a lot of people kind of agreed that, they want to see at least that reboot again, mm-hmm. but they had to kind of maybe spoil things or, granted, animation does evolve over the years, but nothing like we had as kids in some ways, whether it be the War of the Rings animated movie, Watership Down. I remember as a kid, I don't know where it came out from, but I remember seeing it on HBO a couple of times. I might have the DVDs somewhere, and that is Joey and the Red Kangaroo.
Okay, yes.
Mm-hmm. So at least you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Here's a funny one. It's kind of on subject not, but I had seen it when I was a child, but revisiting it when I was older, the bizarre sexual imagery in The Last Unicorn.
Oh my God.
That shit is fucked up.
I have to go back and see it.
Oh, wait. So before we go further in The Last Unicorn.
No pun intended.
But, Trevor.
Yes.
Do you know my buddy Danny Avedon?
I've heard the name, but I don't know him.
Well,
like we talked before, I know a lot of these people by name because people have been supposed to have introduced me, but I've never been introduced.
Well, Danny Avedon, he is part of Game Grumps.
Okay.
He also does Ninja Sex Party. And he also does, what the fuck is that band called? Well, yeah, Ninja Sex Party. Duh.
Okay.
He did a fucking, cover of The Last Unicorn. Just listen to it. It is...
Okay. You're gonna have to text that to me or something.
A guy our age does the most beautiful rendition.
Shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, you've got to listen to some of his other songs, like him singing to his younger self in a humorous way, and it's hilarious. You gotta check it out.
I will say this, again, because you're here, Trevor. I think I told Sasha this. I can't fully, no matter what people say about Last Unicorn, even though I have it on DVD. I love the animation style and the soundtrack.
It's beautiful.
Plus, it got me late, so shut up.
Yeah, but out of all...
Okay, you go, Sasha, and then I'll go, and then I've got to actually get to bed because of...
Yeah.
But you go.
But out of all animation from our age, fucking Wizards.
I have the Blu-ray of it. I just saw it.
I have the DVD.
Yeah.
That fucking artist is the greatest. I'm sorry. Don Bluth is great, but that was the shit. You know, I can't think of his name at the moment. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's in there. But damn.
I could just look in a box here I have somewhere, actually. I just saw it the other day. Actually, today when I was cleaning stuff out. Now, here's a strange topic. And I probably shouldn't bring it up because it'll keep me up later. But I don't know about you guys, but being media freaks and everything, when you go into a relationship, there are litmus tests.
Yes.
And I've had 2 films that are a litmus test. And one, for some reason, I've always tend to get laid in the middle of. The first one was Reservoir Dogs.
Yes.
If you're dating somebody and they're like Reservoir Dogs, that is, it's a good sign. The second one, which I don't know how many times I haven't made it through the second one because I got laid, which I don't know why the fuck, is Blood Freak. Of all fucking films, Blood Freak.
The pot chicken-headed guy?
Yeah, the fucking turkey monster.
Yes!
Yes. You know how many times I've gotten laid in the middle of watching Blood Freak? It's fucking insane.
I'm just trying to understand that.
I'm really curious if you guys have a litmus test or a movie that you bring into a relationship, like, if you get this shit, then I'm willing to go to the next level.
Well, I would say I've been in pretty much just one basic relationship over the years, but due to again, I'm not going to go into here on Sasha's podcast in regards to my ex, but I figured that the two...
Because who the hell's going to listen? So just go ahead.
It requires more alcohol than I have right now, but the 2 films that I would say that would be on my litmus test, one would be Last Unicorn, because of what happened last time, and the second movie that I tell people that would be on what you would call my litmus test would be Clerks 2.
Okay, good.
Clerks 2. Because if you could take Clerks 2, then you've got a sense of humor right then and there. And you can take my weird, twisted sense of humor. But
well, Sasha, I'm very intrigued by what your answers would be.
So, I go a little dark on this. Just a little.
I thought I was a little dark on it.
So first and foremost...
You could say like Deer Hunter and
I've got 3 movies. 3.
Tres.
So, first and foremost, you got Rituals.
Ooh, fucking great film. God, fucking Canadian masterpiece.
How Hollowbrook. What more can I say?
Oh, God, it's so fucking good. Sorry.
So, after that, because we were talking about Corman earlier, where am I going with this? Come on, Trevor. Where you know me. Corman.
Are we going with Boxcar Bertha?
No.
No. Are we going with Death Race?
No. We gotta say.
Are we going with one of the sci-fi films like Forbidden Planet?
I gotta love Doug.
Not Forbidden Planet, but Planet.
Hold on. I gotta love Doug.
The one with the alien rape thing.
No. Not alien rape, but mutation rape, but still. Fishman wanna fuck.
Rape is rape,
Fishman wanna fuck.
Oh,
even though it's from the deep.
Oh, that's a fucking brilliant film.
And then I've got a final one that I absolutely love that just fucks with everybody's head.
Please say it's Chud.
I always forgot about Chud. I gotta find that and watch it.
A little bit further.
A little bit further? Bring
Because I like cheese.
You're
not wrong where...
I'm thinking here.
You're not wrong where you're at.
Extra, baby. You're going extra, aren't you?
No, you're not wrong where you're at. You were right with Chud.
Possession?
No. You were right with Chud.
Okay.
Chud 2?
Yes.
Chud 2 is a piece of shit, but Chud.
But, yes, the rap song alone, but the Chud.
A piece of shit. And Chud is a masterpiece.
But the Chud. Come on.
Sasha, if I knew it would...
I like Chud. I like Chud.
Chair and make you watch Troll 2.
As long as we ain't watching Leprechaun 4, I'll be fine.
Fine, I'll make you watch Leprechaun 4 and the reboot.
As long as we ain't watching House of the Dead, Leprechaun 4, and I've got like a...
What the fuck ever happened?
Fine, let me write this down here. To annoy Sasha, make her watch Leprechaun 4, House of the Dead...
And
Zombie Lake. Those are my three movies I will not touch.
Zombie Lake was that Jean Rollin or Just Franco?
Just Franco. It was terrible.
Just Franco. Because what was the Jean Rollin one, which is actually quite good?
There's
no, wait, Oasis of the Zombies.
Yeah, the Oasis is good.
Zombie Lake was Jean Rollin.
Yeah, but Zombie Lake sucked.
Zombie Lake was fun. Oasis of the Zombies is a piece of shit.
I don't know. I can tolerate that more.
I love Just Frank.
I can tolerate that a little bit more. I don't know why. But Zombie Lake...
I don't know how deep into Just Franco you are, but, I'm actually... I consider myself a Just Franco fan. But Oasis of the Zombies is a piece of shit.
And Let's Scare Jessica to Death? Fuck that movie. Fuck that. It's called Let's Bore Sasha to Death. Because that movie sucked. But
how about I bore you to death and make you watch every Hulk Hogan movie?
No. I want to do that.
Like 3 of them?
I want to watch, and I want to find decent copies of it. So far, I have Suburban Commando.
Okay.
But I need the nanny movie. Where he's like a nanny and he's watching people.
Yes, I remember that.
I need that.
Kino Lorber will eventually release that shit, trust me.
I'm hoping, but I need to.
Yes, because they release everything.
But something I need to work with you on, Trevor.
Okay.
Since you mentioned you love Fulci.
Oh, yes, I'm a big... I missed the fucking boat. 20 fucking years ago, I should have been writing academic papers on this motherfucker, and I didn't.
But I want to examine all the zombie films. All the offshoots
of them, or just within the trilogy?
No. All the offshoots of Dawn of the Dead, except for Dawn of the Dead, that went into Zombie 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all those.
Well, the sequel, this is a thing that I would love to talk to you about. Because a lot of people, of course, Zombie was released, by Argento in Italy. And then Fulci's film, which has no connection at all, was released as Zombie 2. And Zombie is actually this amazing kickback to I Walk with a Zombie and, films of that nature, and has nothing to do with Romero.
But I want to...
connected.
I want to go into that because when I did the whole Alien examination, I went into Alien on Earth, and it blew people's minds because they were like, wait, you're talking about Alien 2? I'm like, yes, technically I am. Alien 2 on Earth. And it fucked with people's heads because I did not...
bring it deep, because I could talk to you for hours, like, about Burial Ground, Zed, or stuff like that. The Italian zombie cycle in itself. And also, I just have to say a couple quick things before I have to go to bed. Number one, Cannibal Apocalypse is going to be released by Kino Lorber officially. Which is a great film. And then also a film that is getting so much amazing love from Shout Factory, and I don't get it because I love the film, but David Gale in The Brain. Do you remember that film?
Yes, I do.
That film is being released with 4 fucking commentary tracks. Now, to deserve that, I really don't think so.
All right.
But it is one of those great... You put David Gale in a film and you have some element of genius.
So what was that weird movie with the weird monster with all the weird mouths and a little kid in the basement? And...
The Deadly Spawn?
Yes. But they kind of made a pseudo-sequel to that later on. They were hoping to, but it didn't wind up being the sequel. What was that movie called? Because it did get released. But it didn't get released as The Deadly Spawn 2. It got released as something else.
Is this the same movie that kind of attacked people by, it was like the attacks were on the beach?
No. The dude wound up being like a lizard at the end of the movie.
Because I remember seeing a movie as a kid. This was roughly when I saw Q on TV. With stars
Larry Cohen.
David Carradine.
Oh my God, Q! Oh my God! Trevor! Another series we need to explore. You and I. We can do it as Prince's Darkness or whatever. But it's alive.
Now,
oh God, those movies are amazing.
Yes.
What?
Especially the first sequel. Sorry.
Again,
the first, the second, and the third. Island of Alive.
Island of Alive is excellent.
Yes.
Like I said, this was a 1980s movie, because that's when I remember seeing it. Basically, it was this creature. Basically, a lot of these mysterious disappearances and deaths were happening on a beach because this creature would kind of, I won't say tunnel, but use its tendencies to kind of tunnel underneath its prey on this beach and drag them back to the host. I don't remember the name of it.
It's called Blood Beach, and it's one of the most sought-after films to be released on Blu-ray.
Oh.
Because it only was released on VHS.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. So let me throw this one out here.
I've been looking for that one for a while.
So let me throw this one out here, because, I love to go on Amazon and search for weird-ass movies.
Yes, don't we all?
Something Island Claws or something like that?
The crab movie, right?
Yes, fucking giant-ass crabs!
It is actually worth seeing.
Yes! Oh my God, it is so good. I was just digging around, and it was so awesome. And granted, my kid watched this with me, because we found it while surfing through Amazon. We can't remember the title of it. But him and I caught a cat within a cat on a fucking boat.
Uninvited.
Oh my God, it was so good. And the worst part was
George Kennedy in it. And George Kennedy, I love George Kennedy, Death Ship, everything.
Yes.
George Kennedy so did not want to be in that film.
And the worst part is we watched Death Ship after that. And me and my son, granted, he's like 12-year-old at the time, and him and I look at each other. This motherfucker does not need to be on a boat.
Exactly.
That was our immediate point.
Talking about Code Red and things like that, here's a great one. I am a diehard Oliver Reed fan. And do you remember the film Spasms?
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Amazing film. And of course Oliver Reed was drunk, yet again, for most of the filming of that film. And he's just, got Oliver Reed. Oliver Reed and Richard Burton. Oh,
Yes.
The best drunk actors ever.
Oh, so good. But yeah. So anyways, I know you all need to get ready for bed. So, Chris, tell us about your show. You're at 21K views. Advertise. Throw it out there.
Right now, we are. The show is at. Let's see if the number jumped up any in the past few hours. Let's see here. We are up at. We broke 21,000, and it's now at 21,002. The show is found on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or I should say Google Play, because it might be changed to Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, our main website where you can get all our episodes if you're on your desktop or laptop is thelongcoatmafia.podbean.com. If you want to look for us on YouTube, just search for Long Coat Mafia Podcast. We're the first thing that comes up. We're on Facebook as the Long Coat Mafia Podcast. Our Twitter and Instagram are both Long Coat Mafia. And you can always contact the show by sending us an email at longcoatmafia@gmail.com.
Alright, and so Trevor, tell us about you, Ambassador Radio, anything you want to plug.
Well, first of all, Chris, my email is theglobalcafe@gmail.com. Theglobalcafe@gmail.com. Send me an email so we can stay in touch if I don't see you at Forest State this weekend. Ambassador Radio, currently I'm on 7 stations. If you look me up on Facebook, Ambassador Radio Show, you can find me on Facebook. The website is in process. Sasha, you and I will talk in greater detail later.
Yes.
Looking at a couple podcast concepts to kind of, since I have a background in non-commercial radio, is taking that and also, the concept of, the film podcast and, coming up with something a little looser than the Warner Archive podcast and doing something similar. So I want to thank you for having me on. Hopefully you'll have me on later.
Yes, please.
Enjoy this.
Trevor, what was your email again?
The Global Cafe.
GLOBALCAFE?
Yeah, The Global Cafe.
Okay.
At gmail.com.
Okay.
Just shoot
I'm
me
going to send you at least a test message right now. That way I have it on file, and it comes up automatically when I do an email.
Okay, wonderful.
But yeah, with us, we're always kind of like podcast masturbation. We just have fun and just chat, have a good time. Everybody's always
not masturbation. It's love with it's sex with somebody you truly love.
Exactly.
And Trevor,
to paraphrase Woody Allen.
Trevor, is your name spelled with an O-R or E-R at the end?
O-R, yes.
O-R.
Okay.
And you better, both y'all better be at fucking Forest State Comic-Con this weekend, because I'm going to be there.
I'm going to try to bring the kids, because I'd like to see you guys. And,
I am right at the bar selling merchandise for Panda Numeric Designs.
You'll probably be at my old spot from last year.
Yeah, well, I'm like facing the bar, and it's me, I'm excited, but I bring my own bar with me, so yay. And just come over, have fun, have a drink, buy Sasha's DVD, buy some art from George, but mostly importantly, buy some of my shit, because it's awesome. Because that pays for my bar later tonight. So, and I'm always there for after parties, podcasts, and just shits and giggles.
Okay, Trevor, since I have you here, my email saying, or at least the app I'm saying is that theglobalcafe@gmail.com is invalid.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says you're invalid.
GLOBALCAFE@gmail.com.
Oh, I forgot the .com. My bad. No, wait. Yeah, that's why.
Wow, that shit's pretty fucked up if you forgot the .com. Damn.
There we go. I forgot the .com.
Don't we all at this point?
Yeah, I haven't even had that much fucking... I don't know what the hell I've been drinking all night. Oh, wait, homebrew. Woo! Yay, legalities. Yeah, well, let's put it this way. If there was a flame near my homebrew, it'd be bad.
So you're pulling the whole, like, drinking like Van Gogh thing,
Yeah.
Turpentine is a good substitute for water.
Exactly. If it erases anything, it's good to drink.
Exactly.
So anyways,
That's why they call it Everclear.
So anyways, guys, I gotta wish you a good night. You got you guys' emails and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, Chris, it has been an amazing pleasure. Sasha, I'll see you. I'll be talking to you. And yes, I would love to plan something around the Fulci zombie cycle and also looking at zombie films in Italy, but also how it connects back to the cannibal cycle and the Mondo cycle.
Yes, and we also got to explore Pieces.
Ooh, talk about a brilliant Spanish film.
Yes, Pieces.
Well, real quick, I'm actually, for the first time in years, actually working on a screenplay that I'm working with a friend Will on that is set in Appalachia, but it's based in the giallo style of story writing with a little bit of Dashiell Hammett, but also a nice little sprinkle of Madman Morgan thrown in there.
Well, if you're feeling very creative, I have the Princes of Darkness movie series. There's 3 films, and we're playing with it. The first one's kind of a siege horror film.
Mm-hmm.
The second one's a space opera. And I've been debating on the third one if I'm going to do it animated or not, but...
Dude, go with everybody else, do a found footage film.
But I don't know. I'm kind of feeling...
No offense to my dearest friend Eric Myers, who did one of the best found footage films.
I don't know, like, when it comes to, like, a siege film like Zombie and fucking Feast, I kind of like that. And kind of like the second film being, like, a space opera. But some part of me wants to do a road film, kind of Mad Max style.
I was only a road film. We're talking like Bob Hope kind of shit here, or,
No, Mad Max.
Like the Road to Bali,
Thunderdome.
It's totally like post-apocalyptic.
Yes.
Like, Dean Martin drunk singing, so.
Or even a Western, I don't care. But the first and second film is a Western.
Have you guys seen The Great Silence?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen The Great Silence, Chris?
What? Great Silence?
Great
No,
Silence?
sadly no.
Okay. You've seen The Great Silence.
For every movie I've seen, there's at least 4 that I've seen that I just plain forgot, and many more that I haven't.
Okay. Well, Sasha, I just have to ask you, did the ending of that film hit you as hard as it hit me?
It left me setting for a while, and let's put it that way.
Yes. I was pretty damn impressed.
It was impressive. And I've got a film that one of my friends made recently I want you to check out. It is called Serpent with a Human Tail. Maybe I got that backwards, but I think you'd enjoy it.
Okay,
it's a
not to be confused with Bergman's Serpent Egg.
No. It's a 30-minute film. It does everything right that The Assignment should have fucking done.
Okay. Now here's one for you, because you are, you study a great deal about contemporary, horror films. But did you see Butterfly Kisses?
Yes.
Okay, do you know that Butterfly Kisses was directed by my closest friend when I lived in Columbia, Maryland? We made mafia films.
No.
Eric Christopher Myers.
Oh, we gotta check it.
Yeah, he was my closest friend growing up.
Well, when I get to Robots Attack, if I can find somebody locally to host us for that, I want you in on that. Because it's me, my buddy Matt Anderson, Craig Rosenthal, who wants to do a bunch of fucking bad, shitty, kind of like futuristic sci-fi movies where robots fuck up. And we just riff on it for hours on end. So I kind of want you in on that once we find a place.
I'm game for anything. I was in 10 years in a marriage where I didn't do shit, so I got to make up for lost time.
Right,
I got some wonderful kiddos, but 10 years of creative mundanity.
And I know Chris.
Dirty, I guess is the right way to read.
I know Chris here would totally be in for that, making fun of bad robot movies. Come on, like Evolver.
You see, Robot Holocaust is being released by I think Scorpion Releasing. Talking about bad robot movies.
Oh no. See, that's fine, but Evolver. Fucking
that's good.
Rotar.
Rotar, that is epic.
And what's that movie by Wes Craven with the killer robot chick?
Oh shit.
My Best Friend.
Yes.
Yes.
So I've got a lineup for those. I just gotta find a place, and we're gonna watch them all, like 5 movies back to back, and fucking slam.
You know they made 4 Nemesis films?
Oh my god.
I was about to ask. I thought they made like 1 or 2 sequels to My Best Friend.
No, they made no sequels to My Best Friend.
Speaking about cyborg films, I didn't know that until the whole I think it was the MVD catalog. Of course, Nemesis got released by somebody, which is a great film.
Yes.
I mean, Yupta was connected to that, but they made 3 other sequels, and I didn't even know that.
Well, what blows my mind is the fact that they're making Child's Play, but it's a fucking remake of Evolver, a reality, and it's like, why not just remake Evolver?
So. Okay, well, I really need to go to bed.
Yes,
This has been a pleasure. Thank you, guys. I hope you have me on again.
Yes, please.
It's been a great time.
And it's been nice meeting you, Trevor.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Chris. You're a phenomenal human being, and I hope to meet you here very soon.
And I'm going to extend an invite if you ever wish to rant about a movie or anything like that, and just let me know. I'll be more than happy to have you on Skype and have you on the show.
Well, like Chris, like seriously, get him on for music and movies. You cannot go wrong for Long Coat Mafia podcast.
So, and if you, Trevor, I know you have a funeral, hit me up in the test email I sent you. The links are there. Feel free to check out some of the shows that the deep dives I've done with independent filmmakers, and check out in reference to music, the stuff that I've done with regards to music. I did a interview way back in the beginning, I think close to in the early days of my show, an interview with the frontman for Midnight Sonata. He was at the 4-State Slasher Con a few years ago, and I managed to interview him. So feel free to search the back catalog and see what we've done in some of the interviews.
Well, I just checked my email. I didn't see an email from you.
I'll get you all hooked up. Trust me.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
That's what works.
This night has been a night of technical difficulties, so you guys have a good night, and
yes,
I will make sure you all meet, and y'all need to come out to 4-State Slasher. Oh, not 4-State Comic-Con, but 4-State Comic-Con.
But I would love to bring them to a convention, because I think especially Ira would have a field day.
Yes, so y'all need to come out to 4-State Comic-Con this weekend out in Hagerstown at Hager Hall, just off of Route 40. You guys will have fun. Alright, so take it easy. As I always say, take scare, creep it real, and unpleasant screams.
Absolutely.
Later.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sasha.